Let's get it! 580 Sports Talk is live and direct on a Red Friday. Hi, hello, how the heck are you? You've made it to the end of the week. Your reward is 3 hours of sports talk this afternoon on the sports voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com. And on our video stream, which you can find on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. However, wherever, whenever you are joining the show today, thanks so much for being a part of the audience. Welcome into 580 Sports Talk. My name is Dan Lucero. Spencer Dupuis and Brendan Dworzinski will be along in a bit for this Football Friday, Red Friday, Raider Week Friday edition of the program. So much pigskin to get to over the course of the next 3 hours. That, of course, will take us to 6 o'clock, which will take us to 580 Preps high school football coverage tonight. Our Week 7 580 Preps game of the week comes to us from C.J. Hamilton Field at Silver Lake. Myself, Greg Akagi, Spencer Dupuis will be on the call tonight as the Silver Lake Eagles play host to Osage City. Osage City is unbeaten at 6-0. Silver Lake 4-2 and winners of 4 straight after an 0-2 start. Going to be a fabulous game. Our coverage begins right after the top of the 6 o'clock hour with the 580 Preps Coaches Club. We'll get previews of the other city action tonight. And we will also get you set from C.J. Hamilton Field for Silver Lake and Osage City with interviews with both of their head coaches as well. And then, of course, wrap it all up on a Friday night at 10 o'clock or following high school football, whichever comes first or second, I suppose. We will have the Kansas High School Football Scoreboard Show from the Kansas Information Network with Eric Peterson on the desk, scheduled from 10 to 11 tonight on the flagship station of the Kansas Information Network, 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. So, it's a lot of me. I've got the game tonight. I've got most of the show today. So, it's a lot of me today. But I'm looking forward to hanging out with you throughout this Friday night, as I do every Friday night here on 580 WIBW. We've got Chiefs Raiders to get to. When I say that the feeling is restored a little bit, it has been a minute since I have confidently predicted a Chiefs blowout. I am feeling as confident of that possibility as I have in a long time. Last year, I'm sure there were times I came on a Friday or the preview show before a Chiefs game, whenever they played, whenever it was, and said, yeah, this ought to be a game the Chiefs kick butt, take names, win by a couple of scores. And then, of course, they wouldn't do that because that was just not how the 2024 Chiefs operated. I think the 2025 Chiefs operate a little bit differently, and I cannot wait to see how they operate with Rashee Rice back in the lineup. So we're going to get into that and preview it as we always do here on the program with our keys to the game, our big Chiefs selections, and our predictions straight up against the spread and to the total. We'll also be joined later on this hour by Matt Derrick, our Chiefs insider from ChiefsDigest.com. Matt Derrick will join us at the bottom of this hour. So we got that to get to. Plenty of Chiefs. College football this weekend. It's a big college football weekend. It's just not one in the Sunflower State because both KU and K-State are off, getting an extra week to prep for the Sunflower Showdown. Kind of fun how that works. An extra week of hype. It'd be more fun if both teams were having better seasons, if they weren't hovering around 500. K-State one game below, KU one game above. Maybe that'd make it a little spicier, but come on, it's the showdown. How much more spice do you really need? That's next Saturday. With KU and K-State off this Saturday, which games are the ones to watch on the college football scene on Saturday? We'll tell you, including the big Big 12 games. And one of those is one you're going to be able to hear tomorrow night here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. We will be bringing you Gridiron Radio's coverage of the holy war between BYU and Utah. Play-by-play coverage of that game from Lavelle Edwards Stadium in Provo. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock kick. And you can catch it right here, 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. So we'll preview the college football weekend. We'll also look ahead to Week 7 in the NFL. Some big games on Sunday. Even with the Monday doubleheader, one of the big complaints about the Monday doubleheader, and I think this is a valid complaint, there just aren't enough good games week over week to be spreading them out the way the NFL does, where you've got the Thursday game and you've got the Sunday night game and you've got the international series, so you've got a Sunday morning game, and it really thins out your traditional broadcast window schedules to the point where some of them just don't have a lot of really good games. And that's unfortunate. But there are some good games on deck for Sunday in week number 7. We're going to break those down for you as well. We'll have coverage, of course, of the Chiefs on Sunday, but then we'll have the Sunday night football game, 49ers and Falcons from Westwood One on Sunday night. So lots of football on your airwaves, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, right here on the Sports Voice of Kansas. So we'll be previewing the weekend, and of course, we'll be making our picks. It's week 8 of the 580 Sports Talk Picks Contest. Spencer continues to be the only one with a winning record. I'm very confident in my picks this week, which, I haven't been very good this year, so take that for what it's worth. But I'm very confident in my picks this week. We'll do that at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. We'll crown a weekly What Is Wrong With You champion. We'll do What Is Wrong With You. We got On Second Thought. We got Change My Mind. All the fun stuff we typically do on a Friday. And we want to hear from you. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. That is 785-272-9429. You can also get at us in the live chat on YouTube. Name of the channel is 580 Sports Talk. We have a live chat running throughout the live broadcast. Hop on in. Say hello. If you've never watched on YouTube before, no day like today to go and check it out. And while you're there, subscribe to the channel, 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. We'd love to see that number go up. Doesn't cost you anything but a click. Say hello. Interact with your fellow listeners. Interact with us on the program. So we look forward to hearing from you throughout the show today. One last piece of business. It's final day of our fall cash contest on our website, 580wibw.com. This means it's your last chance to win $2,000. I hope one of you has won in the previous 9 weekdays that we've given away $2,000 a day at 580wibw.com. But if you haven't, maybe today is your day. I've got 3 more keywords. We'll give you 1 per hour. And all you have to do is get the keyword, go to 580wibw.com, click the contest tab, enter the keyword, and then enter the information requested to get registered for your chance to win. You can enter the keyword once per hour, but you can enter every keyword if you want. If you've already entered a keyword or 2 or 3 or 5 today, you can still enter this one and the next 2 for your chance to win $2,000. Your 3 o'clock keyword for this Friday is money. Money, M-O-N-E-Y, money, as in we are giving away money. We hope you win money. It's $2,000 in American currency. Money, M-O-N-E-Y, is your keyword this hour, 580wibw.com. Let's get into Chiefs Raiders, shall we? It is Raider week, and like I said earlier this week on the show, I do not think this is a letdown spot for the Chiefs. I think some letdown spots are relatively easy to spot, no pun intended. Even without hindsight, you can go into a game and you can see, all right, yeah, they were keyed up last week. It was a big game. It was a home game. It was prime time. It mattered for these reasons. And now they have a weaker opponent coming in, and it is understandable that this would be a spot where maybe this team wasn't at their best, not as mentally engaged as they might have been the week before. I typically don't think that's how the Chiefs are wired in the first place. They're a veteran championship team with a veteran championship winning coach. I think that makes them just in general less susceptible to the idea of the letdown game. But I don't know that there's been more excitement from the Chiefs side for a game this season. And they're an all-business group. Again, veteran championship team. You would expect that they would be all business, that they would treat each game with the same kind of gravity and the same kind of seriousness. But I have sensed the excitement. Mitch Holtz, this voice of the Chiefs, when we had him on yesterday, he compared it to when you get the fireworks on the 4th of July and you get ready to light the big ones. And the big part of the fireworks show is coming. That is sort of the vibe around the Chiefs this week, that Rashee Rice completes the fireworks show. And now we're going to get to see what this offense was always meant to look like. Remember, coming off of a Super Bowl win 2 seasons ago, it was understood, yes, the Chiefs won the Super Bowl, but imagine if we could just get Patrick Mahomes a little bit more help. Imagine what this offense could look like with a wide receiver core that's deeper, more complementary, more fleshed out. So they paid Hollywood Brown and they drafted Xavier Worthy, and the image for this receiving group and what it could be for Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs offense lasted one preseason snap. That is the only play, the first play of the first preseason game in 2024. The only time that all three of Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and Rashee Rice have been healthy in uniform on the field together. That changes on Sunday. And you can sense, even if it's not quite outward giddiness, I think probably inwardly, there is a giddiness about the Chiefs to get their best wide receiver back following a run of games that has seen the Chiefs offense operate at a high level that we haven't seen for the last couple of seasons. And they get a chance to unleash it at home in front of their home fans against a historic rival that is struggling mightily. This is not a letdown spot for the Kansas City Chiefs. And that's why I think, and I say this with as much confidence as I have said this really for the last couple of years doing one of these segments. It's not the only time I've ever said it, which means I've been wrong about it. And look, you talk for 15 hours a week out loud where people can hear you, you're going to say one or two things you don't get exactly right. So I've been wrong about this before. I don't think I'm wrong this time. I might be, but I don't think I'm going to be. This feels like a pending blowout for the Kansas City Chiefs. This feels like a game that they are taking extremely seriously as an opportunity to show everybody what it looks like when it's fully operational on offense, to get back over 500, because that matters, to get back to 500 in division play, because that matters too. You know, this may not be Sunday Night Football. It may not be a sexy opponent. It may not be a narrow point spread, but this game means a lot for the Chiefs and for their season. And I expect that the approach and the focus will reflect that for the Chiefs on Sunday afternoon. It's my first key to the game on Sunday. If the Chiefs have the same energy, if they, you've seen the meme, keep that same energy. If they keep that same energy that they had for the Detroit game, it's not going to be close on Sunday. And what I mean by that is a similar level of focus, similarly clean play, limited mistakes, limited penalties, similar fourth down aggressiveness. If anything, the Chiefs should be more willing to go for fourth downs against a worse defense. It's never all the way made sense to me that the Chiefs view fourth down opportunities as, well, do we trust our defense to get a stop or not? Or do we need to be aggressive because we think the other team is a dangerous offense? No, pick on the lousy defenses. If it's 4th and 5 at the plus 45, go for it. You can't get 5 yards against this Raider defense. They can't cover anybody. Double team Crosby and figure it out. Like the same level of aggressiveness and focus and cleanliness will deliver a positive result for the Chiefs against this Raider team. If they keep the accelerator pressed to the floor, they'll get over 500. They'll get back to 500 in divisional play, and then they can really start moving forward in this 2025 season. My second key for Sunday is that of all the weeks where the Chiefs have to be able to win with a 4-man pass rush, it's this week. I ran through the Raiders' offensive line depth chart for this game, and I gave you their starters. Stone Forsythe at left tackle, Dylan Parham at left guard, Jordan Meredith at center, Jackson Powers Johnson at right guard, DJ Glaze at right tackle. I don't know that other than maybe Powers Johnson, any of those guys starts for any other team in the NFL. Colton Miller starts for other teams in the NFL. He's their normal left tackle. He's on IR. This defensive line ought to be able to have a field day against those 5. I have seen Stone Forsythe movies in particular. He was a former Seattle Seahawk. Whoever is lining up over him should wear a bib because he's going to eat. This is the game where you win with 4 and you drop back in coverage and you make Geno Smith throw the ball into traffic, because that has not been a winning prospect for the Raiders so far this season. As much as I love Geno Smith, there is no greater supporter on these airwaves of Geno Smith than yours truly. Looks like he might be cooked, man. 10 picks in 6 weeks to just 7 touchdowns. You're throwing 10 interceptions in a 6-game stretch. That is an issue. So I think this is the game you try to win with 4, because the other thing, too, Geno Smith will take a sack. He'll eat the ball. He'll succumb to the pressure. But even if he is trying to push the ball downfield, make sure he's pushing it into a crowd. Make sure he's pushing it into danger. Because if you do that, you're going to force some turnovers. You're going to get extra possessions. And that's how blowouts happen. Brendan's keys to the game today dovetail with what I was just saying. First of all, take the ball away. The Raiders are tied for the league lead in turnovers. And the team they're tied with is the Bengals, who've played an extra game. So if you're able to bury the Raiders under the weight of their own mistakes, remember the Chiefs have turned the ball over all of twice in 6 games. Just not a particularly turnover-prone football team. If they take care of the ball, they're +1, +2 in the turnover margin. It gets really hard to see a way that they don't win this football game. The other key from Brendan, he's got some interesting stats here about this Raider defense. Talking about the offense and the offensive line not being particularly good. Defensively, it's Max Crosby, and it's just some guys. The Raiders will be aggressive on defense. They like to send extra pressure, particularly on 3rd down. They have blitzed on the 5th highest rate of any NFL team and on 3rd down this season. So they are more prone to blitz on 3rd down than all but 4 teams in the league. The problem is they only generate pressure on 45.5% of those dropbacks. That's not real good. If you're blitzing and you're generating pressure with your blitzes less than half the time, you're not a very good blitzing team. And if you blitz Patrick Mahomes and you don't get home, all the best. And if you rush with 4 and you don't get home, and the Raiders, well, they don't get home. Even with a guy as great as Max Crosby leading their line, they are 7th worst in the NFL in overall pressure rate. 7th worst. You send extra men and you don't get home and you don't ruffle Patrick Mahomes, and now he's got Rashee Rice back, he is going to slice and dice, and they can pick how many points they want to score. The secondary, not very good for the Raiders. That's been the case for a while now. Here and there, they've had a couple of guys who can play. Like Trevon Moehrig had a run where he was pretty decent, and Jack Jones was a nice player until it went south there. Jones was the one who had the pick 6 on Mahomes on that Christmas Day game 2 years ago. Now they got dudes like Caillou Blue Kelly, who has allowed nearly 70% of the passes thrown in his direction to be complete and is surrendering 11 yards per attempt. Everybody who throws at Caillou Blue Kelly, every pass thrown in that direction makes the passer in question look like an MVP. So the Chiefs should be able to exploit the many, many weaknesses of this Raiders team. There are a lot of teams out there, and we've talked about it as we've gone along so far through this season, that this may not be a year with a great team, with a team that just doesn't have any flaws or has minimal flaws. But there are a lot of teams who are doo-doo, and the Raiders are one of them. They are not good, and they have weaknesses all over the field. And there's but so much Max Crosby can paper over all of that. Even if Crosby has a good game, he's played well against the Chiefs in the past. He likes getting after Patrick Mahomes. 2 of him they have a friendly competition. But there's but so much he can do unless he's winning, unless he has a 100% pressure rate. I don't see any way that the Raiders are going to be able to slow this Chiefs offense down. Or Chiefs offense with their favorite toy back this week in Rashee Rice, Katie bar the door. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be a really fun Sunday to watch the Kansas City Chiefs. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Our official predictions and our big Chief picks. Plus, we want to hear from you. The text line is open, 785-272-9429. You can also hop in the YouTube live chat as well. 580 Sports Talk on YouTube. We are just getting started on this Red Friday edition of 580 Sports Talk. .330 on 580 Sports Talk. Coming up here in just a moment, our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, will join us. Get Matt's look ahead to Raider Week, Sunday afternoon, Arrowhead Stadium. Noon kick. So it's an 11 a.m. pregame start on the Chiefs Radio Network here on 580 WIBW and FM 104.9. Like this comment from Christopher in the YouTube chat. Again, our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk. We've all heard the saying, too many cooks spoil the broth. Somehow, I really don't think that's going to apply to the Chiefs. Now, it's a completely different mindset with this Chiefs wide receiver room, that everybody's got to eat mindset that has permeated that group. And right now it's all in theory, right? Like, we don't know how exactly it will go, who's going to get however many targets, if there might be a game where Hollywood Brown leaves frustrated because he only got one target or whatever. But right now, it feels harmonious. It feels like the chemistry on this team is really good. It feels like everybody's really excited to see what it can be, and they're excited to have Rashee back. That's the biggest thing, is they're happy that he gets to play with them again. And they remember how devastated he was when his knee got torn up in week 4 last year. Obviously, the disappointment of the length of the suspension that he had to serve. Now he's back, and I think guys are just excited to have their buddy back on the field with them. And I'm excited to see what it looks like. That's for sure. It's going to be a fun one for sure. How fun? Well, let's get to our Big Chief picks and our game predictions for Saturday. I've got the group's predictions right here. The Chiefs are a 12-point favorite, according to Prairie Band Sportsbook up at the Prairie Band Casino and Resort in Mayetta. That was at last check. I'll go ahead and slam that refresh button to make sure. Actually, it's gone up again. It is now 12.5. So the line keeps moving. It was 11.5 last night. It's 12.5 now. But that doesn't change the outcome of any of our picks against the spread. The total is 45.5. The game over under 45.5. Spencer, I'll give his pick first because he's been the best of us at picking the game so far. He's 4-2 straight up and against the spread, 5-1 to the total. He's going with the Chiefs to win and cover and the over. 34-21 Chiefs is his selection. Brendan is 3-3 straight up, 4-2 against the spread, 3-3 to the total. He's got the Chiefs winning and covering, and he's on the over as well. A little bit lower scoring pick for Brendan, 30-17, the Chiefs in front. I'm 3-3 straight up, 2-4 against the spread. Yikes. 3-3 to the total. I am also taking the Chiefs to cover. I am on the under in this game. I'll be the contrarian on that. 31-13, Chiefs over the Raiders is my prediction. And you want to talk about the vibes right now for this offense? We all think the Chiefs are going to score in the 30s. What did they famously not do at all last year? Score more than 30 in a game. They got to 30, 2 different occasions, never got over 30. And here we are, week 7, thinking they're going to go over 30 in these games. At least myself and Spencer think they will exceed 30 points. That's how good things feel for the Chiefs offense right now, especially with the return of Rashee Rice. Rice is Spencer's big Chief pick. He was first to make his pick this week, and he went with a pick that I think a lot of people would certainly nod in assent with. I would expect that Rice will be involved early and often. They're going to try and get him touches, get him hit, get him feeling the game a little bit. Brendan's pick is Travis Kelce, and that's fascinating because we really haven't seen what it looks like with all of these receivers and Rashee Rice. How does that open things up for Travis Kelce, who's been very good the last 2 weeks? Does it open things up further for him to be even more effective in the mid-range, so to speak, or on third down? Or do those targets that were going to Kelce now start going more so to Rashee Rice? The process of finding out begins on Sunday afternoon. My Big Chief, I'm a little off the board, but I have a substantial lead in the Big Chief standings. I got 2 points last week, one for both touchdowns that Hollywood Brown scored. He was my Big Chief pick. Nobody else got a Big Chief point last week. I have 5 Big Chief points to just 2 for Spencer and 1 for Brendan. I'm going a little bit off the board with mine, but I think Gino's going to throw the Chiefs at least 1 pick on Sunday, and I think Brian Cook is going to get it. Brian Cook has played some really good football. It's been quiet because there haven't been a ton of, pass breakups or interceptions or fumbles forced or recovered for Cook yet, but I think they're coming. He has been excellent, has really leveled up his play as the full-time starter this season. So I'm going with Brian Cook as my Big Chief, calling his shot a little bit. And I think he'll get a pick on Sunday. We'll talk to Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com. Our Chiefs Insider joins us next here on 580 Sports Talk. We go to Kansas City for our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick from ChiefsDigest.com, who joins us every week at this time on 580 Sports Talk on the Fleming Place Wine and Spirits Hotline. Matt, last week's 30-17 win by the Chiefs over the Lions. I said all week, it felt like the Chiefs showed up in big game mode in a way that typically we see them do in November, December, January, February. They were in big game mode for that game against the Lions and got to heights both on offense and defense that we haven't seen from them yet this season.
Yeah, I think you're right, Dan. I mean, we saw a complete game. I mean, and after the game, I saw a locker room that I think was more joyful than it's been in a long, long time after a game, excluding Super Bowl championships. I mean, it was a room where everybody was in a good mood. I mean, the only guy that was kind of down a little bit was Harrison Butker beating himself up for missing the PAT. But that was, I think, a cathartic win for that team, especially coming off the short week, the disappointment at Jacksonville. They came out focused against the Lions. I think they had a point that they wanted to prove, and I think they proved it.
To that point, talking about the joyfulness of that locker room post game, it feels like that's a theme that has really sort of continued throughout this week. And a big part of that, naturally, is the return of Rashee Rice. How authentic is this excitement for Rice's return, for Rice's sake as a person beyond the football player, and the excitement for what the addition of Rice is going to mean for an offense that was already starting to hit strides that we haven't seen a Chiefs offense hit in a couple of years, it feels like.
Yeah, and it's cliche. I mean, for teams to say after a big win that they want to turn the page and focus on the next game. But I think that the return of Rashee Rice really gives the Chiefs that opportunity this week to truly do that. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of talk about the Lions game and focus on what happened in that. I mean, they can kind of bask in the glow of the performance a little bit, but they've got their guy back on the field now. And I think that's enabled them to kind of turn the page and focus and make it feel like this is a brand new week and don't really have to dwell on what happened last weekend and celebrate that win too much. I think they were able to kind of, now it's a whole new ball game going forward, and they want to see what they got as much as we do. I mean, this group might be confident, maybe overconfident. I don't know. We'll see on Sunday what they come out with. But you're right. I mean, this team is playing really well right now. I think they seem focused, and like we're talking about here, that I think that the return of Rashee Rice gives them something to focus on that's not just merely their record. I mean, they're not really dwelling on being 3-3 and everything like that. I mean, I guess you kind of feel like maybe this team feels like it's 500 because I think in some ways they feel like they're starting at 0-0 right now.
Matt Derrick of Chiefs Digest is our guest, our Chiefs insider, joining us here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt, aside from Rashee Rice, who is the Chiefs skill player that benefits the most from Rice's return to the field?
It's a really good question, but I think individually, I think you'd have to probably say Xavier Worthy. He's still a little dinged up right now, and he had kind of a quiet day against the Lions after having a pretty good game, a pretty good return when he got back from the injury. But now, this gives him kind of a break. I mean, he doesn't have to be the number one guy. Rice is going to be now considered that, or at least you consider them, 1A and 1B. So there's going to be a little pressure off right there. I think that it's kind of it's not necessarily one skilled player, but a couple. I think that potentially the people who could benefit the most is the run game. I mean, the Chiefs have seen some light boxes. They're going to see even lighter boxes now. I think you're going to see more and more teams, just take a linebacker off the field, maybe a defensive lineman off the field to put secondary guys out there. We know the Chiefs have seen a lot of situations where, they've maybe seen 4 down linemen and 7 DBs. They may see more of that. They might see some 3 and 8 looks too. I mean, we'll see what happens. But if you've got that kind of talent on the field at receiver and you're not able to put up run game numbers, then, you really got to start looking at your running back. So I think this is kind of going to be a make it or break it going forward. I mean, if you are Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt and you can't break off some runs right now with the wide receiver talent that you got and guys spreading the field wide open, I don't know when you're going to.
What's the confidence level in Jalen Moore at left tackle? Thrown into an awkward situation last Sunday with things happening in his personal life, with his wife having just given birth. I thought he performed pretty admirably against the Detroit Lions, held his own against Aiden Hutchinson. Going to draw another tough assignment potentially in Max Crosby on Sunday. What's the level of confidence in his ability to deliver there at left tackle?
The Chiefs have enormous confidence in him, not just the coaching staff, but his teammates too. And, I always wonder in situations like this, especially when a guy comes off, he's coming in, to replace somebody due to and whatever it may be, whether it's personal, whether it's, injury that, guys have. Anytime that you're coming in to replace someone, there's bound to probably be a little bit of an adrenaline boost. And coming off the weekend that Jalen Moore had with having the baby and being at the hospital and having a rough night of sleep in a very uncomfortable chair when he gets the call that he's going to be starting on Sunday night, how's it going to be when it's just another day at the office, especially for a noon Sunday game? I don't think Jalen Moore is going to be one of those guys that, has a step backward. I think what you saw against the Lions is legitimately the real Jalen Moore, but we'll get a look at what the everyday Jalen Moore is this week. Preparing all week to be the starter. How does it fit him? How does he kind of, fit into that role? How does he prepare? So I think that will be interesting. But the teammates, they love him. And, part of it has been just how well he's handled this situation. I mean, he signed to be the starter here at left tackle. He got replaced by a draft pick, but he never hung his head. I mean, he's always in the locker room. He's got a smile on his face. I mean, He's been joyful. I mean, there hasn't been any Jalen Moore bringing guys down or anything. He's been just happy to be part of this team. And now that he's playing, I think that's a good attitude for this offensive line to be able to have and to see around there.
We're joined by our Chiefs insider, Matt Derrick, on the Flaming Place Wine and Spirits hotline. And Matt, we've talked about this since training camp started into the season, but I think now we're really seeing a lot from Travis Kelce, the leading receiver for them last week, 6 for 78. He was really mad when he was not able to catch what would have been his 7th. What have you seen up close and personal from him, whether it be like the demeanor or anything that shows like he wants to put last year behind him because he was disappointed in the way he performed last year?
Yeah, and it's interesting because obviously we started out the season with questions about Travis because he had the drop that turned into the interception against Philadelphia and arguably cost the team that game. And since then, I think we've seen steady improvement from Travis, and that's not necessarily, I think, what you would expect to be talking about a guy who's 36 years old. That just seems to be getting better as the season wears on. Normally, I think you'd be saying that's a guy that's probably going to be wearing down as the season goes on. But so far, he's rising to the occasion. And whether it's the different off-season, that was a topic this week about the fact that Travis came back slimmer, thinner, lighter in an effort to try and just have the stamina and the conditioning to make it through an entire 20 or 21 game season. He's still playing a lot of snaps, probably not as many as he wants, probably more than he should, but you still see the old Travis there. And you mentioned, like Dan mentioned, it was being a big game. Travis loves big games. So, I think it makes sense that was an opportunity for him to step up and kind of be himself. Now the question's going to be, and I think that's a great question for this week. Was that Sunday night Travis, or what's noon at Arrowhead Travis going to look like? And that's why I'm another guy I'm really interested in seeing this week in a game that's, let's face it, it's not going to be the highest profile game that the Chiefs play this year.
And moving to special teams, we heard Dave Tobe, I believe, talk earlier this week that with the return of Rashee Rice, he's going to get to use Tyquan Thornton in a few more ways. Where do you anticipate him maybe slotting in at the second kick returner spot, or do you think he takes over for Nico?
Yeah, I honestly would be surprised if he does take over for anybody in that role. It's possible he could rotate in, maybe give him a chance on the kickoff returns. Alongside Brashard Smith might be a possibility. I'm not convinced that Tyquan's a great fit for punt return, and I'm not sure that Dave Tobe thinks that either. He's a really good straight line runner. I think his challenge is kind of maintaining that speed as he changes direction. So for kick returns, I think it's a little bit more easier for him in punt return, where you kind of have to go from a stop position most of the time. That's, I think, a little bit more a challenge for him. And the Chiefs are going to favor reliability in that role over everything else. So I think that'll probably be Nico's for a while. But could he work in and get some return possibilities? Sure. And, could they maybe use his speed a little bit more in some gunner positions where maybe they hadn't been using him, just since they wanted to save him for offense? Possibility.
Our guest is Matt Derrick, our Chiefs insider from ChiefsDigest.com, joining us on the Flaming Place Wine and Spirits hotline here on 580 Sports Talk. All right, Matt, Chiefs Raiders on Sunday, and the Raiders are not particularly good. There's a reason the Chiefs are 12.5-point favorites as things currently stand. What in your mind is the biggest advantage the Chiefs have in this matchup? The bruise that they need to press on for 60 minutes if they're going to walk out with a convincing win and get back over 500?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like there's a lot of advantages across the board, Dan. But, when you talk about keeping losing teams losing, and I know the Raiders were coming off a win last week where they actually did reasonably well in this one area, you got to make the Raiders turn over the football. I mean, right now, Geno Smith is giving away footballs like it's king-size candy bars on Halloween night. You got to get some turnovers from him. Because right now, that seems to be the one thing that he does well is turn the football over. If you let the Raiders get into a spot where this is an even turnover game, or if they get the turnover advantage because you're the Chiefs and you put the ball on the ground once, or Mahomes makes one mistake, you can't put yourself in that situation because that's how a team like the Raiders can stick with you. So I think defensively, Kansas City's got to be aggressive. They got to take the football away. When the Chiefs have the football, I mean, the easy one is to say it's protected, but just attack this defense. I mean, there's a lot of weaknesses across the board. Max Crosby is obviously the guy that I think you have to worry about the most. There's not a lot of other worries on this Raiders defense, so that's the guy that if you keep him neutralized, you should be able to take advantage of some things. And like I said, with getting getting Rice back onto the field, being able to do what they have been able to do from a passing standpoint, they've got to get the run game jump started at some point. And with your actual run game, and not just have Xavier Worthy being a part of it or Patrick Mahomes scrambling for 60 yards. Let's see if you can get Pacheco over 60 yards. See if you can get Kareem Hunt going. So far, those two guys have not combined for 100 yards in a game this season. That's just kind of insane to be thinking about when you're talking about what looks like a really, really good offense right now.
Give me a prediction for a final stat line for Rashee Rice on Sunday.
Yeah, I think my wild, outstanding take from earlier in the day, I think my numbers were 8 for 112 with a touchdown. I mean, I think there's a chance that he just has a really, really good day. I know he looks like just a rodeo horse just ready to jump out of the gate, or a bull just ready to jump out of the gate and take off. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to try and manage his workload. If they don't and let him just play 60 snaps, I think he's going to put up numbers. If they try and manage his workload, I think he's going to be so productive that they're going to be like, we got to keep this guy on the field. I just can't see Rashee Rice going out and having like one catch for 8 yards. I don't think that's going to happen.
And do the Chiefs win on Sunday? And if they do, how big?
Yeah, I mean, there's all the reason in the world, I guess, to believe this could be a trap game, that maybe the Chiefs just they're thinking about next week. The Commanders maybe being a little bit tougher. They've got a letdown after the big Lions win. But I think there's been enough focus on the Raiders this week, and I think that the Chiefs are focused enough on themselves of wanting to go out and have a good performance and see what they can do with this offense. I don't think they're going to just, put 48 on the board or anything, but I think it's going to be a comfortable win. I'm going with the Chiefs 31-13.
That's my exact prediction too, Matt. Great minds think alike.
We're brilliant, Dan.
Matt Derrick of ChiefsDigest.com is our Chiefs insider, appears with us every Friday here on 580 Sports Talk. Matt, enjoy the game. We'll talk to you next week.
You too, Dan. Sounds great. Take care, guys.
That is Matt Derrick. We will step aside for a timeout. Come back with On Second Thought to wrap up this hour of 580 Sports Talk. So on second thought, I can't say the whole line because there's a profanity in it, but there's a bit from I Think You Should Leave, one of the sketches on I Think You Should Leave, where Tim Robinson's character, in that inimitable Tim Robinson fashion, says, I thought it was going to be a hit. It turned out it sucks. Reverse on that for Thursday Night Football last night. I thought it was going to suck. It turned out it was a hit. It was an awesome game. And Aaron Rodgers looks like he still got a little in the tank. And Joe Flacco turned back the clock. It wasn't so much that he was good, that he just decided, well, what if I throw to these two guys who are good and just let them do stuff? And they, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, did stuff.
Yeah, that was my second thought as well. I tuned into different things last night, and I was like, this is going to be a boring game, and finished those episodes, checked in, and I said, oh, no, and I was locked in for the latter half of the fourth quarter, and boy, oh, boy, Joe Flacco did it last night.
Here's how wrong.
And he was on SVP.
Here's how wrong I was on that game. I picked up the Steelers defense in my fantasy league. I thought they'd tee off on Joe Flacco. They gave me negative points.
Hey, shout out to Higgins, because in my crazy scoring league, he got over 60 points with that last second catch. Wish he would have gone in for a touchdown.
They ran a zone read with 40-year-old Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
Unbelievable stuff.
Hey, Joey B might be coming back.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. They Bengals aren't dead yet. We got our 580 Sports Talk picks coming up next hour, plus what is wrong with you and some college football talk on 580 Sports Talk. Let's get it. Hour number 2 on a Red Friday on 580 Sports Talk. Thanks so much for being with us on the Sports Voice of Kansas, 580 WIBW, FM 104.9, online at 580WIBW.com, and in living color on our YouTube channel, 580 Sports Talk, and our Facebook page, WIBW News. The gang's all here. Dan Lucero, Brendan Rosinski, and Spencer Dupuis in studio for this 4 o'clock hour. Enjoy it while it lasts, because then I've got to run out to high school football tonight. Silver Lake and Osage City, our 580 Preps game of the week. Pre-game coverage starting at 6:06. We'll go live from C.J. Hamilton Field following the 580 Preps Coaches Club. Going to be a great night of high school football, week number 7 in the state of Kansas. Hope you'll join me and Greg Akagi and Spencer Dupuis for all the action tonight. Silver Lake and Osage City here on 580 WIBW, FM 104.9. To be followed, of course, at 10 o'clock by the Kansas High School Football Scoreboard Show. Big night of football, big weekend of football. Chiefs football on Sunday, so it's a Red Friday. None of us are wearing red. Not a single stitch of red.
I'm wearing black.
I had a red pullover, but then it got to be 81 degrees this afternoon. I took it off.
Yeah. It might be cooler, though, in Silver Lake later.
It could be. Could cool off tonight.
Yeah.
Chance of some storms. I know later on, mostly for south of I-70 is what it sounds like. But.
Yeah, I hope not at Silver Lake.
Hey, listen, if you're not prepared for that, I don't know what to tell you, man. Get you one of those clear ponchos. That's a pro tip. Have one of those on you as a sideline reporter. Keep one of those on you, a clear poncho.
My guy,
if there's a chance of rain.
My guy, Trenton Craxner, our sideline reporter for Washburn football, he's always got a poncho with him.
Keep that clear poncho.
I think he got burned at one point.
Those,
That's why.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to learn the hard way. I'm trying to help you learn the easy way. Have that clear poncho on you. That ball game poncho you buy for $3.50 at the Royals Authentic store when you show up there and it's raining and you really want to keep your book. Maybe that's just me.
We've all been there.
I'm told by a reliable source, my wife, that it is actually sprinkling outside right now, outside these Huntoon Hill studios. So.
Tell your source that I don't like it, and I hope she changes that report.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't persist.
Bad.
Yeah, I
Dislike.
Hope that it does not persist tonight. But anyway, we've got high school football, as I mentioned, coming up later on tonight. We got 2 more hours of sports talk here. We want to hear from you. 785-272-9429. That's 785-272-9429. You can also get at us in the YouTube chat. 580 Sports Talk, the name of the YouTube channel. We'd love to hear from you. Get your game predictions in. Our guy Jeffrey is our resident Raiders fan. He's got Vegas winning 27-24, but he might be the only one.
Hey,
anywhere in the world.
If you're not going to believe in your team, no one is. So.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. I had a text from 785 asking, mentioning that the Topeka Scarecrows open their home schedule tonight.
Yes, they do.
Topeka's entry in the Federal Prospect Hockey League.
That's pro hockey, folks.
Yep.
These are professionals.
They are 2-0, and they play the Biloxi Breakers tonight at Stormont Vale Event Center.
Oh.
Going to be I'm here to tell, going to be a big crowd there tonight.
And tomorrow night, because they're playing the same team.
That's true. Yeah,
I'll be there and on hand for that
Spencer
one.
Dupuis will be there.
Boots on the ground.
Not in the booth.
I think I might become a frequent at these games because my hockey itch is.
I get it.
Got to satiate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, it's exciting to have pro sports back in the capital city of Kansas, and best of luck we extend to the Topeka Scarecrows. They came by the school where my wife works at a couple of weeks back, and apparently they were just great. Great with the kids.
That's awesome.
Great with everybody. So this looks like a Scarecrow team that's going to be worth giving your heart to and rooting for, and hope that's a great home opener for them tonight. Really do. We have got a fall cash giveaway to continue. Our fall cash giveaway enters its final day today. This is your last chance to win $2,000 from us over at 580WIBW.com. Go to that website, click on the contest tab, and enter the keyword for this hour, then your information, and then you will have a chance to win $2,000. It's the last day of the contest, so if you have not won yet, take one more crack at it. Your 4 p.m. fall cash keyword, stream. 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 As in, you can find our video and audio stream of this show at 580WIBW.com, which is where you can also go to enter the keyword stream for your chance to win. Click that contest tab and enter stream, STREAM.
Maybe you were one of the lucky people who got to stream me beating Dan in the arm wrestling competition.
Maybe you are. Beat me in thumb wrestling. It was a tie in arm wrestling. I just want that on the record.
It's the overall competition.
The Armageddon Olympics, whatever we. Anyhow, still to come this hour, we're going to crown a weekly champion on what is wrong with you. That is coming up. We'll see if our Monday winner can go wire to wire. We'll also talk a little college football this hour as well. No KU, no K-State, but still a big weekend of college football to come. And speaking of college football, along with the NFL, that segues us nicely into our 580 Sports Talk Picks contest. It continues into Week 8. You know how it goes by now. We pick 2 college football matchups against the spread. We pick 2 NFL matchups against the spread. And then we have a wild card pick, which can be anything we want it to be within reason, a total, another spread, a player prop. We're all on totals this week on our wild card picks. Spencer had a bad Monday night. He was 3-0 through the weekend, was looking at a perfect week, but missed his player prop by just a handful of yards, like 4 or 5 yards. And obviously Washington didn't cover because they ended up getting beat. So Spencer had to settle for 3-2, but that does get him another game over 500 for the season. Spencer sitting at 17, 15, and 1. So you're probably about even money if you're betting with Spencer.
The only one, might I add, of the three of us.
We're getting there, all right? You don't have to beat your chest. I'll do it for you. I'm 11, 19, and 3. It's bad. Brendan is 13 and 20. I'm
bad, but better than Dan.
Well, no, I have fewer losses.
I did the math. No, winning percentage. I'm ahead.
Is it winning percentage?
Yeah, I'm 3 percentage points ahead.
3 percentage
39.4 to, I believe, 36.3. I'm getting every single ounce of success I can get.
Thumb wrestling and now percentage points. It's just
wow, that sounds like loser talk over on the other side of this table.
Listen, that sounds like stretching the definition of victory talk to me, but to each his own.
We don't apologize for wins here.
All right, since I'm in last place, I guess I'll go first this week. All right, we'll start with my college football picks. I go ahead and say it on record. I'm going 5-0 this week. I am extremely confident in all of my picks this week. I really feel good about all 5 of these games going the way that I suggested they're going to go.
You could also end with 3 pushes this week as well.
It'd be a great bit.
It's going to happen, and I'm going to get so mad.
That'd be a really good bit. But I do have three round number lines this week. My first pick, college football. It's a big SEC weekend. A lot of huge SEC games. Third Saturday in October. You know what that means. Tennessee, Alabama. This year it's in Tuscaloosa. Alabama's been playing some really good football, but they're not blowing teams out. They've let teams hang around. It's kind of Kalen DeBoer's thing as a head coach. They don't win in blowout fashion. They win, but they don't do it comfortably. They are 8.5-point favorites against Tennessee, and I think that is too many points for a Tennessee team. I think is still pretty good. I think they will keep it within a touchdown. So I will take Tennessee plus 8.5 at Alabama against a team that has typically liked to keep things close.
I believe that number has fluctuated a little bit over the way. I saw it at 9 at some places. I stayed away from this. I don't know. Like I feel like I would rather pick Alabama, but 8.5 is a little steep for me in a rivalry game. A rivalry that has been really competitive as of late as well.
Yeah.
So I wanted to stay away from that one.
Yeah.
I think both teams can win it though, without question.
Yeah, that's why I really like Tennessee when it started. It was 7.5 this morning and moved up to 8.5. So I like Tennessee plus 8.5. My other pick is one of the marquee Big 12 games this weekend. Texas Tech hits the road to Arizona State. Game that has lost a little bit of luster because Arizona State hasn't been quite as good as we thought they might be as the defending Big 12 champions. Took that loss last week at Utah without Sam Leavitt, but all reports suggest that Leavitt will be back in the Arizona State lineup. Here's my question for Arizona State. Does he defend against the run? Because if he doesn't, Arizona State still has problems. Because Sam Leavitt not being in the game had nothing to do with Utah running all over Arizona State last Saturday. So I think Arizona State's got problems. Here's the other big problem that they've had most of the season. They start slow. There's a meme out there I've seen of like a cat curled up in a ball in a cat bed. And the meme says, one thing about me is I will be sleepy. That's Arizona State football. They will be sleepy to start a football game. We have seen it cost them dearly against Mississippi State. We saw it nearly cost them at home against TCU on that Friday night when they fell behind 17-0 at home before rallying to win. You know, you don't want to start slow against Texas Tech.
No,
because nobody starts faster than Texas Tech. Just ask Kansas how quickly they will get on you. Because Kansas found out the hard way how quick they'll get on you in the first quarter. I think Texas Tech can get on Arizona State, and they're not going to get off. Texas Tech is a 7-point favorite. I think they cover that spread. I will lay the 7 on the road with the Red Raiders.
I like that one a lot. I really do. Here's where I think the game is going to be won and lost. I'm looking over at cfbgraphs.com right now. Arizona State offensively, 97th in the country in third and fourth down or late down success rate. Texas Tech's defense, 9th in the country. Flip it around. Texas Tech offensively, 14th late down success rate. Arizona State, 78th defensively in late down success rate. That makes a lot of sense, right? Texas Tech keeps you in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6 or longer, and then their defensive line decides they're going to kill you. Yeah. And that's just what they do. They're big game hunters on the defensive line. I like Texas Tech, and I like Texas Tech pretty handily.
Yeah, and a slow starting team against a fast starting team, that's a recipe for a blowout to me. All right, Brendan.
For what it's worth, CFB Graphs advanced numbers, they've got Tech by over 15 points.
Yeah. Brendan, your picks in college, they have a decided theme to them this week.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Respect the Sun Belt Saturday.
Let's
all
go!
Right. We are going first to Boone,
right,
Mountainside, North Carolina, one of the most beautiful landscapes in the sport, in American sports, I would say. App State laying 10.5 against Coastal Carolina. You know how much this pains me to do. I'm taking Appalachian State. I think they smoke the Chanticleers. Coastal stinks. They are really bad. They have the bad Tim Beck on their staff still coaching them up.
Nebraska Tim Beck?
Yeah, not good. Bad. Very, very bad. I know the advanced numbers think this is going to be pretty close. They think this number is pretty accurate. I think App State can win this game by 2 touchdowns. They're at home. Coastal's not very good. Hard to be a bad team on the road. App's not all that good this year either, but I am going to take the Mountaineers. Meanwhile, elsewhere, let's go to Monroe, Louisiana. Boy, ULM sucks. They are really bad. You know how I know? They got smacked by Coastal last weekend. Troy on the road in Monroe. 5.5 the spread. I will take the Troy Trojans. I should also add the caveat. They are also not good. Not a good year for a lot of the Sun Belt, which Marshall running through them has helped. We'll get to more on them in a moment here. But, ULM really, really mega terrible bad. And I think Troy takes care of him by a touchdown plus.
So there you have it from our Sun Belt insider, Brendan Dworzinski.
Respect the belt.
Respect the belt.
Right here, folks. Get yourself to Kohl's, walk down the aisle, grab a belt, respect it. That's what we're talking about this weekend.
Spencer, go ahead. What's the Marshall pick this week?
They are homecoming underdogs by 3.5 points. They were underdogs last week. Do you know what happened? They killed their opponent, Old Dominion. They embarrassed Old Dominion. They gave Old Dominion its 17.5% chance to go to the college football playoff, now 0.02. They are home dogs to Texas State. I'm taking Marshall, and they're going to win. Also, I've got Ohio State winning by 25 on the road at Wisconsin.
So I thought about picking this game. It is incredibly cruel that they're making Luke Fickell coach this game.
Yeah.
Against
this is the University of Kansas administration making Jeff Long do a press conference after firing Les Miles. They're leaving him out to get himself fired.
So Luke Fickell, obviously, his background, he is from Columbus. He played at Ohio State. He was on those Ohio State staffs. He was the interim head coach when the Jim Tressel thing fell apart in 2011. And he was on their staff before leaving for his head coaching career, first at Cincinnati, now at Wisconsin. He and Ryan Day, I don't believe, ever overlapped. So if Ryan Day and Ohio State take it easy on Wisconsin, it won't be because there's like a personal friendship. But I got to believe this is the only reason I didn't pick this game, to be completely honest with you, Spencer. I think Ohio State might lay off the gas and not try and humiliate Fickell on his way out. Now, that could mean they beat him 31-3. But it could also mean it ends up like 31-10.
Yeah, I'm with you on the same wavelength. I think the problem for Wisconsin is they could destroy them and not make it embarrassing. Like, and there's a point where we see this when there's always a game somewhere in America or somewhere in our state once a year where a team scores like 96 points and wins 96-0. And it's like, look, it's more insulting if we just take a knee on every play. Like, we've got freshmen, we've got 8th graders running out there. They just couldn't tackle us. Like, what do you want us to do at some point? That might be where Ohio State factors in here. I think Wisconsin is the league leader in quit in the country right now. They have given up on Luke Fickell. Those players are all ready to portal. Every one of them.
I can't believe they're letting him coach that game. Making him coach against his alma mater, who could. I mean, they could. They could beat him 41-0. Honest to goodness. But maybe, just maybe, they won't do that to a son of Columbus. So that was my only hesitation with that pick, which is to say, Spencer, that I like the pick.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like it's barely going to hit. I'm thinking it barely hits.
Like 35 to 10 gets you a push.
27-0 and then just sit on it.
Yeah, something like that. Spencer, we'll wrap around to you for your NFL picks this week.
All right. Well, hasn't been as good as Marshall's necessarily been this year, but was a pick 'em this morning. Washington on the road at Dallas, still without Terry McLaurin, but also Trayvon Diggs. We'll get to this later in headlines, but he had an incident at home where he concussed himself last night. So
whom among us?
So he's out for the Cowboys. So I think that evens out, which is why we're barely Dallas at home, right? So they're going to get a little bit there. Now it's 1.5.
It is 1.5.
I'll still take Washington.
Yeah, line moved toward the Cowboys without Trevon Diggs.
Yeah. So I'll still take Washington there. And Packers on the road at Arizona. Arizona is just, I don't know what to think of them. I mean, Kyler Murray is not good.
Well, he's not playing.
Oh, he's not playing.
No, he's not going to start. It's going to be Brissett.
Oh, Brissett again? I don't know.
Yeah, Kyler was throwing to practice squad guys today.
I still got love in the Green Bay Packers winning by a touchdown or more.
When I'm going to co-opt a take from Mina Kimes of ESPN during headlines today when we go through the NFL injury reports. I've got a Kyler Murray take, and it involves an airplane and a New Jersey by November. Next up, especially you got your 2 NFL picks in, so I'll go to mine here. My NFL picks. I don't love the board this week. I'm going to be honest with you. It did not speak to me. I'm going with New Orleans in Chicago, plus 4.5 on the road for the Saints. This is more a bet against the Bears defense than it is anything. Chicago has won back-to-back games 25-24. That has never happened before. Like, back-to-back wins by 1 point and in the same score has only happened once before in NFL history. Never at that number and not in the last 50 years. Very, very weird. That defense is not very good. And Caleb Williams is playing better. New Orleans does not have a good defense itself. But I'm going to bet on hashtag the agenda here, and I think Spencer Rattler can put up some points. So I'll say New Orleans keeps it close.
You remember the Rat Pack?
Oh, yeah. Big time. Big time. We're here for the agenda. I'm bought in. All the way in. Philadelphia, Minnesota. I think this game is pretty much a toss-up. Minnesota's at home, getting 2. So I'll take the candy. I'll take the Vikings in that one. I know they're starting Carson Wentz. I mean, Wentz might be better for them than a hobbled McCarthy at this point who's still not 100% ready to go. The last time that Philadelphia played the Vikings in the regular season, it was Brian Flores' first year as the Vikings defensive coordinator. Jalen Hurts had a drop-back passing success rate of 25%.
Eesh.
Yeah, which probably says more about Jalen Hurts than Brian Flores, but that was the matchup. I'll take Minnesota, home dog. Why not?
Still revenge game on his mind.
That's true.
Anytime you go against a team that said, nah, it's going to get a little injected into your veins.
Yeah, that's a true revenge game for Carson Wentz.
Speaking of a revenge game, my first NFL pick, Patriots at Titans. This is the exact opposite of what I think might happen in Ohio State, Wisconsin, where there might be some compassion and some hearts for Luke Fickell. Mike Vrabel is going to rip off the arm of every Tennessee Titan and beat them with it if he can. New England is a 7-point favorite. You couldn't make this line high enough for me. I think New England is going to take every opportunity to win this game, to win it big, and to rub Tennessee's nose in the fact that, hey, you just fired your coach. How's Mike Vrabel doing? Things are looking pretty good. Things look pretty rosy over here in New England for old Mike Vrabel. Maybe you should have never let me go. I think it's going to be one of those games. A little reminder of what you've lost. I think it could get ugly.
Yeah, if Mike Vrabel was coaching against Ohio State, I'm sure this would go differently. That dude loves his alma mater.
Yeah, he does.
He's not. He's just playing against Amy Adams Strunk, and that's not going to go well for Tennessee. I'm surprised it's only 7. Like, the way Drake May is playing, the only good thing about Tennessee is Jeffrey Simmons. Like, they can't do jack else.
No.
I can't believe this is only 7.
Very surprising to me. My other pick is a Monday night game. We got another Monday night doubleheader this week. Late kickoff, 9 p.m. kickoff. I don't think I'm going to make it to the finish line on Monday night when the Seahawks take on the Texans. Primetime Seahawks. Defense is playing really, really well. Houston can't block. Take the Seahawks and lay 3 points at home. Primetime home Seahawks have been a pretty sure bet over the years, and I'll take them here. Seahawks -3.
Seahawk Dan back in the building.
What can I say?
They're balling. I saw you, Blue Sky, posting negativity about Sam Darnold the other day. I saw that.
Yeah, you're going to keep seeing it.
He's good. He is having a really good year. He is objectively good.
He's playing well. He might just be a JSN merchant, but he's playing well.
Look, when you've got that guy, you ride it.
Yeah, no, you certainly do. Wild card picks. We're all on totals this week. I'm going over in Baylor TCU. It's 64.5. These teams combined for 70 last year. I think they could get there again.
Neither team plays any defense.
No. I'll go over 64.5 in Baylor TCU.
For mine, I'm going to stay with college football as well. We go from the Sun Belt to the Hustle Belt, the MAC. NIU, Northern Illinois at Ohio, going to the other Athens, under 42.5. Northern Illinois is going to try to play a 6-possession game. Not a piece, total. That is what they are going to try to do. Go with the NIU unders until that train comes off the track.
Spencer.
Yeah, I'm going Kansas City Raiders, the under of 45.5.
The under? You were on the over in our game prediction.
You picked 55.
You picked 55 total points.
My bad. I meant the over. I was doing
He's
this.
He's going to get one right.
He's been 5-1 to the total in Chiefs games, and now he thinks he needs to hedge?
No, hold on. I mistyped.
Okay.
I was busy earlier.
And misspoke.
Oh,
yes.
man.
All right. So
that would have been funny, though.
Over the total
Yes.
in Chiefs Raiders. I'm the only one of us under the total in that game. Brendan's also over the total there. Oh, so those are our picks. Real quick, what's your lock of the week?
My lock of the week, we are going to go with, sorry, I scrolled away from my picks. Let's go with respect the Sun Belt. Give me Troy.
I never said I was a math guy, by the way, for the numbers. I must have miscalculated in my head earlier. Also, Belt, Sun Belt boys, Marshall, it's gonna happen.
Respect the belt Saturday.
Yes. New England -7, my lock of the week. We'll take a timeout, come back, crown a What Is Wrong With You champion for the week on 580 Sports Talk. So what is wrong with you time on 580 Sports Talk? We got 2 new stories coming your way to try and take down our champion. From Monday, our current winner, pimento cheese and a whole lot of whiskey. Gentleman was eating a pimento cheese sandwich and drinking a water jug full of whiskey at Aggie Park in College Station, Texas. Whew. Blood alcohol content 0.337. That is a lot of booze in the blood. He was released a lot of times those Texas A&M police posts on X will say released to sober wife or sober husband or sober friend. No, this gentleman was released to the EMS because he needed to go immediately to a hospital. You guys have stories today. I'm out. I'm just a participant today. So, Brendan, what is your story?
All right, my story. We meet 17-year-old Caden Spate from Citrus Springs, Florida, who was arrested and charged on Tuesday with presenting false evidence, shooting into a conveyance, making a false report of a crime, and possessing a firearm as a minor. Why is that? He allegedly faked his own kidnapping and shot himself.
His own kidnapping.
Yeah, this is a wild story. In the alleged staged kidnapping, also racism, so be prepared for that. In the alleged staged kidnapping, officials say Spate purchased the equipment at Walmart, then looked up on ChatGPT about, quote, Mexican cartels and, quote, collecting his blood without causing pain. Spade has since bonded out of jail, according to a spokesman for the sheriff's office.
He want to collect his blood.
We'll get there. According to the arrest affidavit, he texted his parents, Spate did, and his younger brother in a group chat back on September 25th. Happy birthday to my wife. Saying that he was being shot at. Quote, I need help. Being shot at. 4 Hispanics. Armed white van. 1 driver. I'm hit. That's what he texted them. Authorities were dispatched to the last location of his cell phone. They found a bullet hole through a windshield of his gray Chevy pickup, blood, his severely damaged cell phone, drag marks in the dirt, and bicycle tracks away from the car. The sheriff's office said a vast amount of resources and personnel and other law enforcement agencies were deployed to look for him. Multiple agencies were involved, including the FBI, Florida Fish and Wildlife, you know they don't mess around, and the sheriff's office, according to the affidavit. The next day, September 26th, Spate was located at a parking lot adjacent to the Winn-Dixie and Advance Auto Parts in Williston. He was found armed with his dad's gun, a bicycle, and other belongings. He told authorities the bicycle was not his and was dumped off with him by kidnappers. Something kidnappers often do, give you a way out. He claimed he was on his way home from school the day before when a van pulled up next to him, causing him to pull off to the side of the road where his car was left and where he was kidnapped. He had a gunshot wound in his right leg, shattering his femur. It required medical attention. When asked when he was shot, he said it occurred 30 minutes prior and right before he was dumped on the side of the road. He would spontaneously utter, according to the police, they dumped me, shot me, and left. He said that they used him last night. What does that mean? And also wanted to fight him. When asked what gun the suspect was shot with, he confirmed it was his father's firearm. So again, the kidnappers shot him with his own gun and then left him with a way to get away from the kidnappers. That was his official story. Spate purchased the bike and other camping supplies at Walmart the day before this all happened. They also found a tent and a sleeping bag bought at the same Walmart. They found a Gatorade bottle near the abandoned vehicle containing his blood. They believe Spate put his own blood in the bottle and sprayed it near the abandoned truck. Among his recent ChatGPT searches were how to take blood out of myself for medical purposes without it hurting.
Oh, my God.
There had been signs recently he wanted to run away from home, but those had dissipated, and there were no recent signs of him being upset.
Other than taking a kidnapping and shooting himself and collecting the... Wow. That was
How to take blood out of myself for medical purposes without it hurting.
That was a journey. Spencer, what's your story today?
Oh, yeah. We've got a dash cam video showing the moment a South Florida man was arrested for allegedly driving drunk and then crashing into a state trooper's car with his 3 young children in the back seat.
Boo.
Yeah, you can't be drunk with kids. You can't drunk drive, and you can't. It's even worse when you got kids in the car.
It also helps you get places faster, so it's impossible to say if it's bad or not.
According to the arrest report, the trooper allegedly saw Cesar Pena Romario, 35, driving with with a beer bottle between his legs. Troopers say they approached the passenger side of the car. The bottle fell out and said both the driver and passenger smelled like alcohol and were incoherent. Dashboard video shows troopers speaking with the suspect moments after the crash. quote, "We're changing to a DUI investigation because they're under the influence of drugs or alcohol," the trooper said. Troopers gave him several field sobriety tests, and Romero is seen failing to walk a straight line and is only able to take a few steps. He then fails another test where troopers ask him to lift his leg. He stumbles instead. A few minutes later, he was placed in handcuffs. Police said no one was hurt, but in bond court, the judge said things could end up much worse. It was the mother sitting next to him, too, as well.
Oh,
so
geez.
Pena Romero was charged with driving under the influence, 3 counts of child abuse and damage to property. The Department of Children and Families is also investigating.
All right, so child abuse loses by default, even if the other story wasn't a lot better. I have no idea what to make of that story. Like,
dude, I think this is so funny. This kid blasted himself in the leg. It's like, yes, Hispanic people are shooting at me. They also left me a bicycle to get away from them.
I mean,
I brought Dad's gun and they shot me with it.
I think that's calling out, like, I need help.
Why is he like? Why did he have the gun in the first place?
Yeah,
brother, there is no way this story will make sense.
Does that beat our drunk guy at Texas A&M?
No.
Yes,
I don't.
I'm going to say yes.
Oh, you're gonna put it on me, huh?
I am
putting it on me. Man, a water jug full of whiskey and a pimento cheese sandwich.
Hey, you got to eat something. Got to keep that stomach full.
You definitely need to eat something. Give me that orange goo, please. I can't even see. Give me the goo. We're going to go with that one. Pimento cheese and a whole lot of whiskey. That is our weekly champion, a wire-to-wire winner on What Is Wrong With You. I'm heading out to Silver Lake for high school football. The guys are going to talk some college football when we come back on 580 Sports Talk.
442 on 580 Sports Talk. Brendan Dworzinski, Spencer Dupuis here with you. Thanks so much for hanging out with us on this feel-good football Friday afternoon. Got the 580 Preps Game of the Week. Silver Lake versus Osage City coming up here in just a little bit. 7 o'clock kickoff tonight. You'll be able to hear that game right here on 580 WIBW. That's going to be such a freaking good game. Got a football-heavy weekend for you here on the Connoisseur Media Topeka family of stations. Got our high school football game of the week tonight at 7. Coaches Club at the top of the 6 o'clock hour. We've got Washburn football coming up tomorrow. It's Hall of Fame weekend, so we've got an extra long, hour-long pregame show. So our coverage for for Washburn football will start tomorrow at 1 o'clock, kickoff at 2 over on Country 106.9 as the Ichabods get ready to take on Central Missouri and the Mules. We're also carrying the Holy War tomorrow night. How about that? We're going to have BYU Utah, one of my favorite rivalries in the sport. That is going on tomorrow night here on 580. We got the Chiefs game kicking off at noon, pregame at 11 on Sunday. And we will also have Sunday night football, 49ers versus Falcons, all here on 580 WIBW and the Connoisseur Media Topeka family of radio stations for you. You're going to see some hockey this weekend.
Yeah, I am. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm fired up. I got to get out to a couple games this year.
I was tempted to buy season tickets, not going to lie, but unfortunately got to work Friday nights for the first few games.
Yeah,
so it doesn't exactly work out to buy a season tickets because I was like, I don't want to buy it if I'm not there.
Sure.
So I'm just going to go to as many games as possible.
No, we'll have to reach out to our buddy John Clement, the voice of the Scarecrows, get him on after this weekend and hear all about how the festivities go. Excited to hear from you next week how this weekend's action goes. Let's dive into some college football here. We've got headlines coming up in the 5 o'clock hour, and we'll get to a MLB playoff roundup, including I want to follow up on something, a comment I saw in the YouTube comment section a little bit ago. We'll get to that coming up in headlines today. Some final Chiefs thoughts, final thoughts on the NFL slate as well. But this weekend around college football, I like that KU and K-State are both off this week. I want them fully rested. I want them fully rested and as healthy as possible, ready to go for the Sunflower Showdown. I'm just going to tell you ahead of time for next week. I'm picking K-State.
What?
The last time KU beat K-State, I was 13. I think KU this year is a better team than K-State. I do. I earnestly believe KU this year is the better team. I can't do it. I cannot do it. I'm going to emotionally hedge until KU actually wins this game. And I'm not even trying to be anti-Kansas State here because Kansas State played a lot better last time out. I'm just saying I can't pick it. It pains me, but I am going to pick against KU to try to hedge emotionally. That's going to come up next week. As for this week, no Jayhawks, no Wildcats either. As far as the Big 12 goes, game you're more interested in. Let's start there. There's two obvious ones here. I think Baylor TCU is interesting. Arizona at Houston has a certain level of intrigue. West Virginia UCF does not. That game stinks. Same with Cincinnati, Oklahoma State. Not interested. Texas Tech at Arizona State with Sam Leavitt back for the Sun Devils, or Utah at BYU, 7 o'clock Central Time kickoff in the Holy War. Which of those games is more intriguing, more compelling to you this weekend?
I think the Holy War.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I think BYU is good. I don't know how good they are. I'm certain Utah is good. I think there's a ceiling on what Utah can do. I think this is going to be a great game, a fun matchup of styles. Kyle Whittingham's team versus a true freshman quarterback in his first Holy War, even if it's at home for Bear Bachmeier and BYU. I think that is a fascinating matchup.
And look, it's literally showcasing, while not your of a few years ago Big 12, but it's putting a few of your top teams that are both in the top 25 national TV. It's an 8 Eastern game on Fox, 7 Central here. You got a good crew doing the game, and I think this is a showcase game for the Big 12.
Is this the Benetti game?
Yeah.
Oh, we got Benetti. All right.
We got Benetti and a very, actually surprisingly, more polished RG3. I don't know if you've watched any of the games. When he was on ESPN, he was just learning the ropes, but he's taken a lot into...
Polished it a little bit.
Yeah.
Polished it a little bit.
And they got sideline reporter that's a Caps pre and post game host. So
there you go. I'm gonna go. Ooh, man. I will take Utah. On the road. I haven't seen what the spread is in this game. Have you?
It's 3.5.
3.5 favoring BYU?
Utah.
Favoring Utah.
At least according to the ESPN bet. I don't know what our friends at Prairie. Let's see what our friends at Prairie Band are saying.
Prairie Band, I'm pulling it up right now. 3.5. I don't love that number. I do not love that number at all. I'm just gonna take Utah straight up. I'll just stick with that. I'll just say Utah.
Yeah,
3.5 over at Prairie Band as well. I'll just take Utah straight up. I'm gonna take the veteran presence, although it's also the first Holy War for Devin Dampier, which could play a role in it as well. I like Utah a little bit more in the trenches. I know it's on the road. I love that rivalry. Genuinely one of my favorite rivalries in the sport right now. Real quick, let's go rapid fire. Picks around the league. You're on Utah or are you on BYU?
I'm on Utah.
All right, we're both on Utah. Tech, Arizona State. I got Tech.
Yeah, I got Tech as well. I mean, Arizona State's doing pretty well this year, but I think Tech is the conference champion right now. If you ended,
they're a different beast.
Yeah,
they just have
especially watching them last week, like being more in keen. Like I've turned their games on and switched to them and whatever, but watching their game against KU's a solid team.
Yeah.
And what they did to KU is crazy.
Yeah, they're just on a different plane than the rest of the Big 12 right now. Cincinnati going to kill Oklahoma State. Any doubts about that?
Yeah.
In Stillwater? Yeah. Sorry to Doug Meacham and Clint Bowen.
Hey, respect the students.
They're giving it their all.
Stadiums. They are going down there. They're tarps off, moving to the 200 section, like having fun. When your team is not fun to watch, you fired your head coach, like shout out to the Oklahoma State students for keeping it fun.
No, I'm right there with you on that. The revivalry, Baylor TCU.
Ooh,
I'm going Baylor. I'm going to take Sawyer Robertson over Josh Hoover.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
I'm kind of reducing it, but that's my deciding factor there. Arizona at Houston. I like the home team here. I'll take Houston straight up.
Yeah, I'll take Houston as well. They obviously was just one loss, and that loss in Big 12 play, but they're at home. They're actually home dogs, so I'll take them as home dogs.
Yeah, I will too. That's a little weird to me. West Virginia at UCF. I hate this matchup. I will not be turning on TNT this weekend, but I will take UCF.
Yeah, I haven't checked the Big 12 availability reports, but I don't know. Is my guy Cam Fancher going to be starting against West Virginia? Because that would be hilarious.
That would be very funny. He's out. He's not going to play.
He's out?
Yeah, he's out. That team has nothing left at
no, but I still think they're better than West Virginia.
No, I agree. You want to talk about a team that has nothing at quarterback right now. Other key games this weekend, USC at Notre Dame, 6:30 Central Time kickoff. Noah Eagle, Todd Blackledge on the call for NBC in that one. I kind of like USC in this matchup, at least against the spread. They're a 10-point dog. They've got to travel from Pacific time into Eastern time. I understand that. Rivalry game on the road. I understand that. Jaded Mayava has had a really good season, though. I'm not 100% sold on Notre Dame's defense. I think Notre Dame is good. I don't think they're great. I would take USC. If you're going to give me 10 points in a rivalry game like that, where both these teams are trying to scratch and claw for a chance to make the playoff this year, I'm going to take USC against the spread in that one. That, to me, it's right up there with the Holy War and with Tennessee, Alabama as the most interesting games of the weekend. I'm going to take USC plus 10.
Yeah, I think Notre Dame, to me, always loses in big spots.
Now, I will say
this is a high leverage spot.
Two things that I would say as points toward Notre Dame. One, I do like their quarterback. CJ Carr, I think he's going to be a really good player. I heard a lot of really negative stuff about him during the offseason, listening to some, season preview podcasts and whatnot. And I thought, wow, people are really low on him. I think Carr has been pretty good or good enough anyway for this Notre Dame team. So I'm going to go with, I think he's a positive player. Also, Joe Otting, Hayden Catholic High School's own Joe Otting from right here in Topeka. He's going to get the start at center for Notre Dame this week. That is awesome. Great kid, heck of an athlete. So fired up for Joe, for his family and everybody here in Topeka who supports him. That is so freaking cool. So happy for Joe. One of the best high school athletes I've covered in recent memory. There is no doubt about that. Fired up. He's going to get the start in this game this weekend. Let's get your pick for Tennessee, Alabama. I know Dan was picking Tennessee to cover the spread in our picks of the week. I wanted to take Alabama, but that's not a number I like, so I'm not touching this one. I think I'd pick Alabama straight up, though.
Yeah, I'll pick Alabama straight up. I mean,
again, I hate to reduce it
7.5.
I hate to reduce it to just quarterback versus quarterback, but I like Ty Simpson more than I like Joey Aguilar.
Yeah,
That's a big part of it. Ole Miss, Georgia, that game going to be middle of the day on ABC, 2:30 kickoff. Ole Miss has never won in Athens, if I remember correctly, or at least not in the last 50 years or some crazy thing. They just don't win on the road. They nearly blew their game against Washington State last week, looking ahead to Georgia. Georgia, meanwhile, has trailed at the half in 3 of their 4 SEC games so far. They are really slow starters. I think that's an interesting game, probably going to have fewer points than many people expect. LSU Vandy to open the day. Other SEC game. Vanderbilt, really good, really fun. LSU, offense bad, defense very good. I think that one is really, really interesting. I think that kind of covers it for the big games of the weekend.
Yeah.
How the mighty have fallen. Penn State was number 2 in the country to start the season. They're now unranked playing Iowa on Peacock this weekend. Oof, tough break for Penn State.
On the cock.
I have no interest in James Franklin being on TV this weekend. They're going to do a live interview with him on game day. I have no interest in that. I do not care. And you don't care that I don't care. I understand that.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't need to hear from James Franklin. That's not
like this week. Like maybe like in the off season, get him on some college football, like Sirius XM show or something. But
what's he going to say?
I'm disappointed things ended the way they did. You know,
right.
I'm looking forward for what's next. Thank you to everybody at Penn State.
Let's get to a quick timeout. What's next for us? Change my mind on 580 Sports Talk. All right, Spencer, really quick, change my mind here. Texas Tech will be the only Big 12 team in the college football playoff.
Yeah, and there's no change in my mind on that unless something really changes here over the next couple of weeks and BYU is able to win the conference, then I think Texas Tech's it.
I think BYU's probably got to go undefeated the rest of the way because someone ahead of them is going to falter at some point, and Notre Dame's not going to have a great resume. If Notre Dame loses to USC, they're done. They're not making the playoff this year. BYU's got the Holy War, Iowa State. They play Texas Tech, TCU, Cincinnati, UCF. They are undefeated right now. They 11-1, they get in. If they win tomorrow, and even if they lose to Tech, if they win the rest of the way, I think they get in. Anything short of that, I don't feel quite as confident. We've got 1 hour left of 580 Sports Talk today. We'll get you headlines, final Chiefs-Raiders thought, and we'll take some looks around the NFL slate as well. Final hour of the show coming up after our national and local news on 580.
Big Blue Pets Food. The daytime coffee aging fever under your food medicine. Use directed to better reach your children. Terrific forecast on 580 WIBW. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with a slight chance for storms. High wind up to 83. Southwest winds 8 to 15 miles an hour. Partly cloudy skies. Tonight chance of thunderstorms. Lows a little off around 57. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times. Tomorrow, highs will off around the 80. Our staff team for all this right now, it's 81 degrees.
Stay connected with the voice of Kansas, WIBW.
It is the final hour of 580 Sports Talk coming your way on a feel-good Friday afternoon. It's a football Friday as well. We've got games 3 days in a row across the Connoisseur Media Topeka family of stations, including the 580 Preps Game of the Week, brought to you by Bunky's Hickory Pit of Osage City. Tonight, it is the Osage City Indians taking on the Eagles of Silver Lake from C.J. Hamilton Field in Silver Lake. We will start our high school football coverage tonight just after the top of the 6 o'clock hour with the 580 Preps Coaches Club. Then we'll have pregame coverage from Silver Lake and kickoff at 7 o'clock. So join Dan Lucero, Greg Akagi, and Spencer Dupuis for the broadcast of that tonight here on 580 WIBW. I'm Brendan Dworzinski. That is Spencer Dupuis on the other side of the glass from me today. If you're watching on YouTube, yes, he and I did switch spaces because he's about to leave here in the next, 10, 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, you're not seeing things different. We did change.
We did. Yeah, we flipped it around here. So surprised, but maybe you're happy. We kind of changed how zoomed in we are too. So you're seeing a little bit more of Spencer's face, a little bit more of my face now. Just a lot of.
Well, I mean,
you can see that I shaved recently. We did some family.
You can't get
yesterday.
that darn camera over there figured out for to be your main camera when you're alone, when you're solo.
Yeah. And look, honestly, man, it's just a miracle equipment ever works in this studio. Like any day where everything doesn't completely melt down is effectively a good day for us.
That's true.
Coming up in this final hour of the show today, we've got our 580 Sports Talk headlines. Light day outside the NFL, but we'll get to some news and notes from around the NFL here in just a moment. We'll also get you our final thoughts on the NFL Sunday slate and Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon and Sunday night, and then doubleheader on Monday night. I'll get to that as well. Coming up later on this hour, our final Chiefs thoughts as well. We want to hear from you. Text line is open as always, 785-272-9429. And you can find us on YouTube. Head to youtube.com. Search 580 Sports Talk. That's all you have to do. You just type in 580 Sports Talk, hit enter, return, click the search button, whatever will be the first result there. Follow along. You can hang out, watch the show live with us every single day. We are on the air. You can also comment, save videos, go back. If you missed anything, check out the other non-live streaming content we do, our Chiefs instant reactions. All of that can be found over on the 580 Sports Talk YouTube channel. Shout out to all 827 of you who are following along on YouTube.
Hey, we got one more keyword.
Oh,
and then we're done.
You are right. And in fact,
then
it might be my favorite
over.
word of the entire competition, Spencer Dupuis.
I mean, yeah, because I hope one of our listeners is one of those.
It is time for our final Fall Cash 2025 keyword. This word is active until the end of the hour. That is it. So you need to head over right now or until 6 o'clock, but not a second later, to 580WIBW.com. Go to the left side of the homepage. You will see the Listen to Win $2,000 every weekday button. You're going to click right on that link. It is going to bring you to a spot where you enter in the keyword. Your keyword to possibly win $2,000. Your chance to win $2,000 today from us is winner. 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 As in, currently, Spencer is the winner in our football picks competition.
Yes.
But I win every other competition and will eventually be the winner in that one as well. So head to 580WIBW.com, enter the keyword winner. You have until the end of the hour, 5:59:59, and then ixnay, you're done. So make sure you go get that entered in the fall cash giveaway over at 580wibw.com.
Hey, I'm looking for back-to-back years winning the picks contest.
That's true. You did win it last year, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
All right. Well, Spencer, with that in mind, I'll give you the reins here. I'll let you pick our first headline. You want to go with the Chiefs injury report, or you want to go around the NFL?
I will go with the Chiefs injury report because I have it pulled up right now, actually, on Twitter.
All right. Take it away.
For the Chiefs, only one player is out, and that shouldn't be shocking because there's been kind of a topic of discussion all week. That is left tackle Josh Simmons, who's dealing with a personal issue. Don't believe he is in town. Believe he's in California with his family. He is the only player listed as out for the Chiefs. The only real change this week of anything was Brashad Smith dealing with an illness, who did not participate on Wednesday but was full yesterday and today. No game designation for him. Jerry Tillery wound up on the injury report after Wednesday's practice, but he was full with an elbow injury. No designation for him, as is no designation for Rashee Rice. Obviously, just wanted to make sure he was up to speed, game speed for him to go. No designation for Xavier Rice or Xavier Worthy, trying to put together two of the top receivers.
That'd be a hell of a player.
Yes. No injury designation for Worthy with a shoulder or ankle. None for Jawan Taylor's getting treatment on that knee, nor Nico Remigio for the thumb. Charles Omenihu for an ankle, or Hollywood Brown for the Achilles. So it looks like it'll be Smith as an inactive, along with just the normal others that you're used to being inactive. For the Raiders, though, no one listed as out, but we do finally have a designation for Brock Bowers, who did not participate both Wednesday and Thursday due to a knee, but was limited today for the Raiders. He is listed as doubtful.
Brutal for them.
And then Jacoby Myers dealing with a knee and a toe / the team wants to trade him. Did not participate on Wednesday and Thursday, was limited today. Alec Bachman, who's dealing with an ankle that I guess he sustained on Wednesday. He and Jacoby Myers were both limited today. They are both listed as questionable. Other than that, no designation for Justin Shorter, who was dealing with an illness on Thursday, was full today. Max Crosby, his back popped up on the injury report today, not listed on Wednesday or Thursday. He was limited, but it's Max Crosby. I don't expect anything less. He is good to go. And then running back Dylan, is it Labe?
Lob? I'm actually not sure.
He's dealing with a hamstring injury. He was limited both Thursday and Friday after not participating on Wednesday with a hamstring, but he looks to be good to go off the injury report.
I'm not too worried about Alex Bachman being questionable. He has one catch for 9 yards this season. Not too worried about that.
I don't think Jacoby Myers is going to go either if they're trying to trade him.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Try to keep his value up because someone will take him. He's a good player.
Yeah.
He's a useful wide receiver. I can think of a lot of teams that would love to have a useful wide receiver right now.
But Brock Bowers being doubtful, that's huge.
Sucks.
Because
he's their best player. He's the best player on the roster next to Crosby. Well, Crosby 1, Bowers 2.
Yeah.
But, man, Bowers had the best rookie tight end season of all time last year. He's a whale of a player. Great to see for the Chiefs. Everybody pretty much ready to go. It sucks about Josh Simmons. I know Dan covered it earlier. I know you guys talked about it a bunch yesterday and earlier this week. I don't know what the situation is. The Chiefs are intentionally being very vague about it. If it's supposed to come out at some point, it will come out at some point. Pretty nice. You had to spend a premium to get the insurance policy, but pretty nice to have an insurance policy who's as good as Jalen Moore. That's a nice thing to have. Most backup tackles can't play. That's why they're backups. It is the hardest position group in the NFL to find depth for is the offensive line. And the Chiefs have a legitimately, starting caliber left tackle just sitting on the bench, ready to go now for this week with Josh Simmons out yet again. All right, let's go around the NFL here, Spencer, on a continuation of our 580 Sports Talk headlines on this Football Friday. We'll just go straight down the list here. Let's get to your team first. Washington takes on the Dallas Cowboys this weekend. We will be getting that game in our area. Not the Packer game. It's fine. I'm not mad. Just kidding. I'm extremely mad. Cowboys, they're not going to have their starting corner, their best corner, Trevon Diggs. Bizarre situation for him. Yeah. He was at home, had some sort of incident or accident, landed himself on the concussion protocol, and he's not going to play. I mean, if it's something gory and gruesome, I guess I don't really want to know, but I really want to know what happened to him to lead to this happening. I remember reading the story about Ken Griffey Jr. trying to get out of the bathtub at home, slipping, falling, and going on the injured list, then the disabled list. Like, did Teron Diggs slip in the tub and hit his head or something? He fall down the stairs going forward. I cannot imagine what would have happened at home to put him on the concussion protocol.
Well, it was like in the NBA with the Wizards years ago. John Wall was coming back from an Achilles injury, and he was walking around his house.
Yep, I remember that.
And then he tore his Achilles again.
Meanwhile, on the other side of this game, your team, the Washington Commanders, no Terry McLaurin again.
Yeah, and quite possibly no Deebo Samuel.
Ew.
He's listed as questionable.
That's tough.
Yeah, that is not good. I think he's dealing with like a heel injury, and obviously those kind of go up and go down because I mean, just your heel. Sometimes you hit it, sometimes you don't. I mean, it's such a
Awkward spot to have an injury.
But they might be calling in some reserves with Treylon Burks being on the practice squad. They might activate him. I don't know.
I wish you luck if that is the case.
Yeah.
Oof. Yeah. Little thin for Washington. But when you've got an elite quarterback, you can still win plenty of games. Staying in the NFC, the Minnesota Vikings, they're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles at home this weekend, and they will be starting Carson Wentz. Yes, the Vikings will once again be starting Carson Wentz. J.J. McCarthy is not healthy enough to start, but is healthy enough to be the emergency third quarterback.
Yeah.
When do you think we'll see J.J. McCarthy again this year? Do you think when he is supposedly full to go, we'll see him again? I still think I would play him. I'm biased. I like the kid. He's from my hometown. But if you're healthy enough to be the emergency guy, shouldn't you also be healthy enough to play sooner than that? This, to me, feels like they're trying to give Wentz as much leeway as possible to let him keep the job for now.
I mean, I don't know. I could see like, hey, he's like 80, 90%, but we don't want to throw him out there yet. And we want to give him another week. But if he had to play, if this was a playoffs, he would play.
Sure. Yeah, a little bit of a weird situation. Like, I don't think Wentz is good by any means, but he's, kept the ship heading in the right direction, at least for the time being. Most of these notes, in fact, all these notes from NFC teams today. The San Francisco 49ers, they play on Sunday Night Football. They've been a mash unit all year. It's not getting any better. Brock Purdy, out again this week. More Mac Jones. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver, out again. He will not be available. Their already horrible wide receiver room is now down another guy because old friend Marquez Valdez-Scantling, he is on the injured reserve. Who you got Sunday night, Falcons or 49ers?
Oh, I got Falcons. They were surprising to me last week with their victory.
I am going to go with the Falcons as well. I don't have the advanced numbers on San Francisco in front of me quite yet, but I'm trying to pull them up here. So San Francisco has been pretty decent against the run. They have not been good against the pass. Don't love that when you got to go up against Drake London. Don't feel super great about that. Now, they have been better against the run than they've been in the last couple of years, which is helpful because you're going up against Bijan Robinson. The problem is Bijan Robinson is better than almost any other running back in the NFL. He's right there at the top of the list as running backs having the best season around the league.
Domination last week against the Bills defense. 19 carries, 171 yards, a touchdown. I was hoping for 200 on my fantasy team.
Yeah, just shredded the Bills. Now, granted, we know that Bills defense is not good.
Yeah.
But especially against the run. The Bills this season, for what it's worth, they are 30th out of 32 teams in expected points added against the run. Meanwhile, success rate, they are 24th out of 32. Opponents are getting 44.7% of their runs to qualify as successful. That is not a good number. You want to stay really better than 40 or lower than 40 as a defense. For an offense, same thing. You'd rather be on the plus side of 40. Not great for the Bills in that area. Also, one other note, my favorite team, the Green Bay Packers, they are not going to have Christian Watson available. He's returning from a torn ACL and some other damage at the end of last season. He's been ramping up, but they have to give him one more week, so he will not be able to go against Arizona Sunday afternoon. The Cardinals, meanwhile, are likely going to start Jacoby Brissett at quarterback again over Kyler Murray. Brissett was running with the ones today. Kyler Murray was practicing, but he was mostly throwing to the scout team. I've got a take for you. I heard on Mina Kimes' podcast, I was listening last night while in the drive-thru at Chick-fil-A picking up dinner. But I heard her share a take that she thinks Kyler Murray is going to be the next Baker Mayfield, which is funny since he replaced Baker at Oklahoma and they won the Heisman back-to-back. But in the sense that Kyler is going to end up in a different offense, away from Drew Petzing, away from Jonathan Gannon. And in the future, people will say, wow, how did Arizona ever let that guy go? Because he is talented. He is a great athlete. That speed won't always be there. But I think Kyler's a good quarterback, but he's never won anything. So I understand all the criticism of him. I don't think it's impossible Kyler Murray gets traded at the deadline.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, look, you've got to do something with him. Yeah, he's not the future. He wasn't the present, and he's not the past.
And again, I like Kyler Murray more than a lot of people do, and I understand that. I think his upside is as good as almost anyone, especially outside of the truly elite guys. He's owed a lot of money left on his contract, but really only for this season and next season. It would be hard to move. I don't think it's impossible, and I don't think it's impossible that someone tries to move him or the Cardinals try to move him at the deadline. Maybe they can't get it done. It would not entirely shock me, though, if they at least give it a try. So that will do it for our look around the NFL. Spencer, would you like to do the honors with the playoff roundup?
Yeah.
It's time for the 580 Sports Talk Playoff Roundup.
Let me pull up the exact information we need here for this ball game.
Well, yeah, one of these games, the ALCS, I believe, has already started.
Yeah, it just started, bottom of the first right now, still scoreless. Blue Jays do have a hit, but let's go back to that Blue Jays game last night. Oh, my Lord, Max Scherzer looked like vintage Max Scherzer last night. He said, don't take me out of this ball game. He went 5 2/3, 3 hits, 2 runs, 4 walks, 5 strikeouts. And Blue Jays win 8-2. That's Max Scherzer, like peak Cy Young Max Scherzer at the age of 41. Last night was the age of the 40. Was the night of the 40-year-olds.
Yeah, no, it really was. He's nuts. Like they showed video of him just walking through the dugout. I mean, he's a crazy person.
I saw last night on my Twitter all these Nats fans like, we knew this Max Scherzer before you guys did.
I forgot that baseball does the 2-3-2. So I originally wrote down this was going back to Toronto. This one's going to be in Seattle again. If you're the Mariners, you have to get one at home.
Yeah.
You absolutely have to. Because if you don't, I mean, it's going to be a zoo anyway at the Rogers Center. All those Canadian fans. I mean, Toronto is Canada's team. You've got to get to your third win before you leave Seattle. That's
you do.
Way too risky. If Seattle doesn't win this one, it's over. I will say they are not going to win 2 more in Toronto.
Yeah, series tied at 2-2, we just mentioned. And then last night, the Dodgers come away with a 3-1 victory over the Brewers. If I remember correctly, they were out to a 1-0 lead after the first inning. And pointing to tonight, it's that same matchup. The Dodgers look to close it out tonight at home. It'll be Shohei Ohtani on the bump along with Quintana for the Brewers. That coming up at 7:38. That'll be on TBS for your viewing pleasure. If you want to watch the Blue Jays game, that is on Fox Sports 1.
I saw a comment from our guy Jayhawker in the YouTube feed. This is how I want to close out our headlines today, mentioning looks like the Dodgers are going to buy their way to another World Series. And I want to say that I don't necessarily disagree. Like their roster is better than everybody else because they spend more money than everybody else. And they're not afraid of luxury tax or anything. They're just going to go spend and get great players. And that's what they continue to do. And they continue to win. That's the economics of Major League Baseball. I don't disagree with that point. The one thing I do want to say, I've seen from some Brewers fans, media members, etc., who all year it was, we'll play you anytime, any place. We believe in our guys more than anything. We've got the special sauce. Only for this week, them to be, frankly, embarrassed through 3 games by the Dodgers. And now the narrative has flipped almost completely into, well, we're just little market Milwaukee. Like, whoa, hold on now. Like, oh, this is unfair. Market size, payroll size. You don't get to play it both ways, Brewers. You don't get to. You don't get to say, we'll play you anytime, any place, and then you've got to face the big bad wolf, and suddenly you become one of the scared three little pigs. You do not get to be that team. So, sorry, tough luck. Maybe you should get a richer owner. Maybe you should just be willing to spend and go over the luxury tax. It sucks for small market teams. Royals fans, you know this. I'm not debating that at all. We can save this for next baseball season and probably in a year and a half when they lock the players out. We don't have Major League Baseball in 2027. I'm just saying, if you're the Brewers, you can't play it both ways. Can't be we'll take on all comers. And then when there's one that can beat you, all of a sudden you're the scared little small market team. Can't play it both ways. Spencer is on his way to Silver Lake for our 580 Preps high school football game of the week. I'm with you for the rest of the hour. We're talking Chiefs Raiders after this on 580 Sports Talk.
Don't miss this deal at Cable Dollar Jamaica. Get a 2007 Chevy Silverado for only $17.
Just a few moments ahead of the bottom of the hour here on 580 Sports Talk. Brendan Dworzynski with you. Dan Lucero and Spencer Dupuis are on their way up to Silver Lake for tonight's 580 Preps game of the week as Silver Lake takes on Osage City. This one is going to be awesome. Can't wait for that one tonight. 7 o'clock kickoff, 6:45 pregame start, and we've got the 580 Preps Coaches Club right after the top of the hour at 6 o'clock here on 580 WIBW. Wanted to get to a couple quick thoughts on the Chiefs here. We'll look around the rest of the NFL slate and get you a final word into the weekend coming up here in just a few minutes. But I wanted to address my keys to the game. I know Dan covered these during the opening hour of the show, but just wanted to expand a little bit on how I'm feeling about my keys to this one. I feel like it's pretty straightforward in this game, to be honest with you. Number one, take the ball away. The Raiders are not good. They are worse than I thought they would be. I don't remember my official predictions, how spicy I was feeling that day, but I don't think I was ever, under the belief that this was a serious playoff contender. Maybe they could get lucky if Denver and the Chargers both took huge steps back and the Raiders could get hot and make a run. That's clearly not going to happen. I don't know that it's necessarily a Pete Carroll thing or a Chip Kelly thing or whatever. That's first year with the program, got to rebuild, all those things, etc. Geno Smith might be done. It might be over for Geno. He looks awful. He's not making good decisions. He's not letting it rip the way he used to in Seattle. It looks ugly for Geno. He is going to put the ball in harm's way. So what do the Chiefs need to do? Take it away. Take advantage of balls that are thrown into windows tighter than he should be throwing into, that are ill-advised decisions over the middle of the field or outside the numbers, wherever it is. If he's loose with the ball, fumble-wise, take the ball away. That is incredibly important in this game. I think the Chiefs should be able to take care of business pretty easily one way or the other, but turnovers will certainly make it easier. The Raiders, by the way, tied with the Cincinnati Bengals for the most giveaways in the NFL this season. We should also note the Bengals have now played one more game than the Raiders have after the Bengals won over Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers last night. What a game. We've had some good Thursday night games this year. I know they are reviled, and trust me, I understand very well why. We've got a pretty good Thursday night slate of games so far on the season. All right, the other key I've got for the game coming up on Sunday at noon, beat them over the top. This is almost always my opinion on Chiefs games because you've got Patrick Mahomes, so why wouldn't you push the ball vertically and try to get down the field through the air? But this is from NFL Next Gen Stats. The Raiders have blitzed on third down at the 5th highest rate in the NFL, but they're 9th lowest in terms of pressure on third down. Just 45.5% of those dropbacks generate pressure. Even when blitzing, they do not heat up the quarterback. In fact, overall, you take the down and distance and all those things out of it, just in general, the Raiders 7th worst in overall pressure rate. They cannot get after the quarterback, even with superstar Max Crosby out there. One of their starting cornerbacks, Caillou Blue Kelly, he has allowed a completion rate, when balls are thrown to him as the closest defender, completion rate of 69.7% this year. He is giving up 11 yards per attempt when targeted. That is absurd. That's like Alabama playing Bowling Green kind of numbers at quarterback. He has been targeted 33 times and has allowed 363 yards. That is embarrassing. He cannot cover. The Chiefs should be able to tear this team to shreds through the air. I want to see it. I always want to see that. But I think the Chiefs should have a pretty distinct advantage on both sides of the ball here, especially their offense against a Raiders defense that maybe they're trying hard. And I think Patrick Graham overall is a pretty good defensive coordinator. But yikes, man, this Raiders team looks as bad as any has looked in the last several years, which is really saying something. I've got the Chiefs winning this one. My final score prediction, I went with the same score as last week, 30-17. The Raiders are going to be juiced up for this game because they always are. But I think the Chiefs take care of business. Travis Kelce, my big Chief pick. Not a lot of deep balls going to Kelce these days, but I do think he's going to be a weapon in the red zone for Patrick Mahomes in this one. We'll take a look around the rest of the NFL when we come back after this break, right here on 580 Sports Talk.
WIBW, Topeka.
580 Sports Talk rolls on this Feel Good Friday afternoon. Brendan Brzezinski here with you. Spencer Dupuis, Dan Lucero, they are both already on the road. In fact, they are probably just about set up at this point for our 580 Preps Game of the Week, brought to you by Bunky's Hickory Pit of Osage City. One of the best small school games in the state of Kansas that we're going to get, maybe all year, certainly this week. Silver Lake hosting Osage City. These two going to be district mates again coming up next year. Talked about the new Acacia districts earlier in the week, which, by the by, I hate them. I don't like them. And I know it's no one's fault. It's just the way the map falls regarding who is moving up in class, who is moving down in class, and shifting around of the map and all that. I understand it's nobody's fault. But there are a couple of arrangements. I'm looking at the district for the Hayden Wildcats, for example. I'm looking at the district for the Silver Lake Eagles, for example. Just not especially competitive. Honestly, the way that Hayden and Holton have been paired together over the last few years in that district in 3A, and outside of those two, not a whole lot going on, but those two are going to play one of the biggest games of the year every year. That's what it looks like it's going to be for Silver Lake and Osage City going forward in 2A. I could go on and on and on about this, but I know Dan and Spencer already covered it earlier in the week, so I will digress. But Silver Lake, Osage City, Game of the Week tonight right here on 580 WIBW. We've got the 580 Preps Coaches Club coming up here at the top of the hour, and then as soon as that is done, we will move you into pregame coverage from CJ Hamilton Field with Dan, Greg Akagi, and Spencer on the call tonight. That is going to be a banger of a game. We talked plenty of Chiefs football into the last segment, and of course throughout the show today. Chiefs versus Raiders coming up on Sunday, noon kickoff, a rarity for the Chiefs in this modern era of Kansas City football. Noon kickoff against the Raiders. The other games that we are going to get in our area this week, obviously we had the Thursday night game. I'm just looking at the 506sports.com map right here. We do have another London game. That's right. We're just going to play games overseas forever now. I'm going to get to a complaint about this in a moment, so hold on. It's not about games being in Europe or in Brazil or wherever on their own, but we'll talk about this in a moment. So we've got a game on Sunday morning, Rams-Jags. That's actually a really good game this year. The Rams are really good. The Jags are fascinating. I think they're good. I don't think they're great. I think they have the ability to play a great game. They're a bizarre yet fascinating team, in my personal opinion. So I think that's going to be a fun one on NFL Network on Sunday morning. Then the games on Sunday themselves. Obviously, we're going to get the Chiefs game in the noon window. That'll be on CBS. Fox early game will have Philadelphia versus Minnesota. That's a good one. That's a matchup that I feel like happens every year. And it's a natural matchup, even though they're not divisional foes. Like, oh, yeah, that seems right that the Eagles are going to play the Vikings. There are definitely some matchups, like, throw one out here, like Chargers-Jaguars, even though they're in the same conference, that feels weird. Or if you throw me like Chargers-Buccaneers, that doesn't feel like a natural matchup. That doesn't feel normal. It only happens in all likelihood once every 4 years, only once in each stadium for those respective teams, 2 of every 8 years. Like, it just, some matchups don't feel right. They don't feel normal. And I don't know how to describe it other than that. Like, Raiders-Panthers, that actually fits. Different coasts, different conferences, but no, that actually makes sense. But some of the Florida teams, some of the West Coast teams, just doesn't make sense why those teams would play. But again, I digress. We're getting a little bit loose here on a Friday. I'm just saying, Philly versus Minnesota, that's a game that, that's NFC football right there. That feels more natural. We'll get that in the noon window on Fox. Late game is on Fox this weekend. We will get Spencer's Commanders. They are taking on the Dallas Cowboys. Most of the country gets that. Most of Kansas is going to get that game, aside from 4 counties in the north central part of the state. So if you live in Smith Center, I'm extremely jealous of you coming up this weekend. You are going to get the Packer game. Smith County, Jewel County, y'all there. You're getting the Packer game this weekend. I am not here in Topeka, and I'm miffed about that. I will find a way to consume Packers versus Cardinals at 3:25 on Sunday, but I'm a little irked. We're not getting that game. We're getting the Cowboys instead. Other national games, Sunday Night Football this week. Interesting matchup. It is going to be Atlanta at San Francisco. Both those teams, they've been pretty decent this year, but I kind of feel like both need a win on Sunday night. And a doubleheader on Monday. Tampa at Detroit, Houston at Seattle. I have a problem. I have a lot of problems. Let's just leave it right there. But I am starting to realize my big issue with having, we already have Thursday. That's been a staple for, going on 20 years at this point, that we have at least some sort of segment of Thursday night games during the season. We know there's always going to be a primetime game Sunday. We know there's always going to be at least one primetime game on Monday. But the more you spread games out other than that, it weakens the incredible product that is NFL Football Sunday. And that has progressively driven me crazy. And part of that, admittedly, is because these days I'm watching a little bit more NFL Red Zone, because when you've got a 10-month-old at home, your ability to watch nonstop wall-to-wall football all day Sunday reduced quite a bit. So a lot more listening to the Sirius XM NFL channel and checking out Red Zone to catch up on games. So maybe that's just a biased opinion, because I'm someone who would like to get more games all at once and just jam it all together, as opposed to this week when we're going to get 3 games in the early window on one station and 3 on the other. Like 6 games in a window, that doesn't seem quite even. And we'll have 4 games in the late window. And then again, Thursday, Sunday morning, Sunday night, Monday, then Monday again. I like to have a lot of games on Sunday. It's a bigger gripe, and I understand the NFL, it's growing business, it's trying to reach more people, yada, 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 be in as many exclusive windows as possible. I get it from a sheer no context business perspective. But part of what's made the NFL special, for one, your own team is only playing once a week, so that kind of fandom scarcity is a big deal. But also beyond that, people know about other NFL players and teams outside of their favorite team more than they do in any other sport. And if you are a super crazy baseball head, yeah, you probably know about what's going on with the Blue Jays before they get to the ALCS. You know what's been going on with the Brewers and their players and their lineup and all those guys before they get to the NLCS. But the average fan of baseball knows a lot less about the players and teams, in my belief, than the average football fan, who still knows most of the starting quarterbacks around the league, knows at least one narrative or something about almost every team in the NFL. Having that scarcity and have it be Sunday, you lock in on Sunday, as opposed to, we're going to scatter, a few things on Monday night. We're going to have multiple games on Monday night, including one that's not going to kick off until 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock East Coast time. No one cares. Roger Goodell does not care about my opinion. I don't think I'm alone in this, if that matters for anything, but I like having a lot of games on Sunday. That's how the NFL is supposed to be. It's how it was when I was younger, and damn it, that's how it should still be now. But obviously, we're not going to put the toothpaste back in the tube with that one. Couple of key games from this weekend that I wanted to just get a few final thoughts on. Again, I think that Rams-Jaguars game in London is a fascinating one. That's NFL Network on Sunday morning. I think that's a fascinating game. I think the Rams are maybe the best team in the NFC. I think they're certainly in the running, and Philadelphia does not have a chokehold on that like we thought they were going to entering this season, and frankly, like they did for a large portion of the 2024 season. The Eagles are still good. I think there's a lot of good teams in the conference. I would have told you last week it was the Lions by a slim margin over the Rams. In fact, I did tell you that it was the Lions. I thought going into that Sunday night game against the Chiefs, the Lions were playing better football than maybe anyone else in the NFL. And then it was proven, as if we didn't already know, that they're all major front runners, and if they're not playing from ahead and blowing guys out, then they kind of fall apart mentally and emotionally. I think right now I would give the Rams a slight lead for best team in the NFC. They're up there, though, with Detroit. Philly is still Philadelphia. They're still good. The Buccaneers are playing really well. I think the Packers are probably not number one, but I think they're certainly in that top 3 or 4 discussion at the very least. I mean, it's an entertaining conference right now. So I think that game on Sunday morning is going to be fun, because we know the Jaguars can mess you up and can take a favorite and make them look not so great, especially in, it's not a home game for the Jags, but there'll probably be plenty of Jaguars fans there, given the kind of presence that the Jaguars have had in London for a long time now, when so many people thought they were just going to move that team overseas. But I'm excited for that one on Sunday morning. I think that's going to be an interesting matchup. Obviously, we've already broken down the Chiefs and Raiders game. The other game that I'm interested about during the early window, there's really, I guess, three. The three games that Fox is carrying all have some level of intrigue. Philadelphia, Minnesota. I heard this stat earlier today that Jalen Hurts, the last time he faced in the regular season a Brian Flores-led defense, the Eagles' running game, and this was pre-Saquon. You got to go back to the 2023 season for this. The Philadelphia running game was impeccable against the Minnesota run defense. And that's the way you can get Minnesota, with all those funky looks and goofy blitz packages and creativity from Brian Flores. If you can just punch them right in the face with your running game, you can find a lot of success. Jalen Hurts had a success rate passing the ball of roughly 25% in that last game against Brian Flores in the regular season. That's really, really, really bad for a quarterback throwing the ball to have a success rate of 25%. You want that up as close to 50 as you can get at the very least. I think that's going to be a fascinating game. It's in Minnesota. I think there's a real chance the Vikings win. Now, they are starting Carson Wentz, so you want to bet on that game. That's the risk you take. New Orleans at Chicago, I think, is interesting. Two quarterbacks from last year's class who are playing better this year. Caleb Williams looks not perfect, not even close to it by any means, but he's certainly better than he was as a rookie. And I'm telling you guys, hashtag the agenda, Spencer Rattler. He's playing good football. I promise. He has been very good. That Bears defense, not so good. I think that's a sneaky, interesting one at Soldier Field. Carolina and the Jets, this is kind of a sicko game. Like, the fact that I said this was interesting. If you are saying, Brendan, you're an idiot, that's fine. You're also right most of the time. I'm curious to see if Carolina can keep their foot on the gas, or if they're just kind of one of those paper tiger giant killer teams that they get super up for the good teams, but they don't actually have enough talent and they can't just beat up on other bad teams. Carolina could get to a winning record at 4-3 if they knock off the Jets. Not sure they'll be able to, but I think that's at least a little bit interesting for Carolina. And that pretty much does it for the most interesting games before we get to Monday night. So with that, why don't we get to one final timeout here on 580 Sports Talk today? We'll come on back, get you a final word. Don't forget, we've got the 580 Preps Coaches Club coming up at the top of the hour. Dan talking to every single city coach going into the second to last week of the regular season for Kansas high school football. Can't believe we're already this far into the year. Got the game of the week coming up tonight. Osage City taking on Silver Lake in some small school action. Fired up about that one. We'll get you ready for all of it coming up on the other side of this break here on 580 Sports Talk.
The fall and winter are the busiest times of the year with farm and sporting events that I cover, and that means being on your feet for hours, which makes my feet, knees, and back sore and stiff. It's Greg Akagi. Any remedy I had or bought didn't work until I stepped foot into the Good Feet store for a personalized fitting and test walk. Since I've been wearing the arch supports for the past few months, it has made a world of difference, whether it's long walks or standing for hours. You'll be amazed at the difference in a short amount of time wearing the arch supports. The Good Feet store is America's arch support experts. They have hundreds of locations throughout the U.S., and now they're open right here in Topeka. Good Feet arch supports slip into all the shoes you already own, and most importantly, can help with foot, ankle, knee, hip, and back pain by properly aligning your body from the ground up. If you feel like you've tried just about everything to get rid of that pain, learning if Good Feet arch supports will work for you is as easy as going in for a free fitting and test walk. Live the life you love, free from foot, knee, hip, or back pain. It all starts with one visit to the Good Feet store. Schedule your free fitting and test walk at goodfeet.com, or just stop by the Good Feet store at 21st and Wanamaker near Target.
If you're one of the millions of Americans behind on your taxes, if you're afraid to open your mail because IRS collection letters could be coming, listen carefully. The IRS is cracking down, taking paychecks, freezing bank accounts, revoking passports. That's a fact. But here's what most people don't know. There are official tax relief programs designed to help struggling taxpayers. Programs that could save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief. Optima's award-winning team will fight to protect your paycheck, your passport, and your property. Their tax attorneys and licensed tax professionals will work tirelessly to get you the best deal possible with the IRS. Every day, penalties and interest keep piling up, so don't wait. Call Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033. 800-936-9033.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
When it comes to a gun suicide attempt, all it takes is a moment.
Heather and I had an argument just like any other couple. I was lost. I had snapped. I had a gun and I was going to take my own life. Heather helped me realize that there was still a life to live. for the better of myself, my family, my weapon is now safely put away.
A moment of crisis can happen to anyone. Store your guns, locked, unloaded, and away from ammo. Hear more safe stories at endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by Brady and the Ad Council.
Here's what everyone is talking about today.
President Trump meets with Ukraine President Zelensky at the White House for an arms deal. John Bolton appears at a Maryland federal court after yesterday's indictment of mishandling defense info. The government shutdown now becomes the third longest in U.S. history, on its way to number 1.
You'll know everything when you stay connected.
News that affects you. On air and on demand. FM 104.9, 580 AM, WIBW. WIBW, Topeka.
One more thing. In conclusion, you better wrap it up.
Wrapping things up and putting a bow on it on 580 Sports Talk on this Feel Good Friday afternoon. I'm Brendan Dworzinski. Let's get you a final word for this weekend. And I'm looking toward noon on Sunday, Chiefs versus Raiders. We already know Raiders week, as we talked about earlier on the show this week, it is still a big deal. Even though the Raiders have been irrelevant for, at this point, most of my lifetime, and I'm 31 years old, it is still a meaningful game between these two teams. We remember Christmas Day a couple years ago. We remember the John Gruden bus victory lap around Arrowhead. All of that nonsense. That's why this game still really means something. I think it also should mean something for the Chiefs in the landscape of the 2025 season. This would be a great opportunity to just go blast someone. The Chiefs, you win by 2 scores in the NFL. Let's put it this way. You win by 2 scores in the NFL. You did something really, really right. There are very few multi-score wins that are cheap or chintzy or fluky or anything like that. You earned that. And the Chiefs were by far and no doubt the better team than the Detroit Lions this past Sunday night when they won on Sunday Night Football. But that being said, it would still feel good, and I don't think I'm alone in saying this, to see the Chiefs go out there and just, to steal the quote from our pal Mitch Holthus, put the hammer down on this Las Vegas Raiders team. Their quarterback is playing terrible football right now in Geno Smith. Their defense can't stop a nosebleed. Their offensive line is all kinds of banged up. They've got a guy who I think is really talented as their starting running back and rookie Ashton Genty, but he has very little help in that offense. The Chiefs, meanwhile, have a quarterback who's playing better than anybody, and lo and behold, despite not even being in the playoff picture right now, Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes is the odds-on favorite to win NFL MVP. That is insane, guys. Let's not lose sight of that. Mahomes is playing really well. The defense has been good enough. You're getting Rashee Rice back. The offense is already clicking. It is firing on all cylinders. This feels like the type of game where the Chiefs are a heavy favorite for a reason, and they should plow through the Raiders in this game. I know there's no easy wins in the NFL. I'm not trying to say this game is easy, but you put the level of talent, the level of quarterback talent, certainly, and all the other context around the NFL over the last couple of weeks, this feels like a game the Chiefs should be able to dominate, and I sure hope they are able to coming up on Sunday. We will, of course, have that broadcast for you here on 580 WIBW. In fact, it is a football-filled weekend here on the Connoisseur Media Topeka family of stations. It begins tonight. As you know, at the top of the hour, we've got the 580 Preps Coaches Club. Dan Lucero talking to all of our city coaches ahead of their games coming up this weekend. And then after the Coaches Club, we've got the 580 Preps Game of the Week brought to you by Bunky's Hickory Pit of Osage City. It is Silver Lake hosting Osage City in 2A action. This game is going to be a blast. Can't wait for that one. Again, tonight, 7 o'clock kickoff.